Hello, 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 and welcome to the 10th point, season 6, week 1, and the graphics are not updated, but I'll fix that in a little bit. We have today 21 players all ready to bring you some powerful magic, which is also like nuts. Like, I don't think we have had this many players ever. We are gonna be playing 4 rounds of Swiss. I have a couple more announcements that I want to be making before we start, and a couple of reminders. Number one, if you do not know what this tournament is, exclamation point Discord in chat will get you to the Canadian Highlander Discord. Thank you, TheSoundOfWhiteNoise. More on that in a second. We'll get you to the Canadian Highlander Discord. The Canadian Highlander Discord is A, sweet, people there are great, and B, it's where we do these tournaments from, which really helps with so if you want to join, you can just be there. I'll post the if you want to get directly a link to sign up for next week, I'll probably post it later today. Second, this stream is largely brought to you by Twitch subscription, among other things. Obviously, I mean that's not like the stream is always gonna be like, you know, it's always gonna happen realistically. But if you hand pitch in a subscription, especially if it's Bezos bucks, like, you know, those don't actually come out of your pocket, like the Sound of White Noise just did. That helps us with doing stuff like maybe providing prize support for future events and things like that. On that note, this season, for the first time, I am planning to have some amount of prize support. It is only gonna be for the finals. We are going to be playing for stakes in the final event. But in order to qualify to the final event, you have to do well in either these tournaments or the Saturday tournaments that Balex is organizing. That will qualify you and give you a chance to compete for fabulous prizes by managing some amount of ticks or Card Kingdom store credit, your choice. I have been. I will announce a little bit more about that in a little bit. But we'll talk about. I'll be a little bit more in depth about stuff. We have changed the way the point system works for this season because there were some concerns about how I was feeling that the bonus for just showing up and playing was a little bit too substantial. The tournament win bonus was also a little bit too substantial, and we wanted to like give a little people that had like, you know, the 2 and 1s of the world a little bit more weight. And so as for that, Balex and I have come up with a new point structure that basically ends up working out that showing up gets you 2 points, then you get 3 points per win, and X and O gets 2 extra points, and X and 1 gets 1 extra point.
And I think the benefit of that, Red Mage, just to kind of jump in a little bit, is that you're going to probably see folks be more enticed to jump in the middle of the season, because the ability to kind of, you know, put up continuous median, you know, consistent results of like 2-1, maybe a couple 3-0s is going to put you in better stead to get into that final.
100%. That's actually the goal here, is just put people in a position where like you're not in a position where you're just hyper rewarded if you either show up every week and it doesn't matter what you do, or you just spike 2 tournaments. I want to reward the people that can show up for, you know, half the season and like consistently 2-1 the tournaments that they show up in. And I think that the new tournament the new point structure will help with that a lot. With that said, joining me on the line today, as for most week, is Lomenor 2, which we hadn't said anything about. But
yeah, sorry for jumping in.
If you, he's a fixture of the show, so you probably are aware of Lomen by now if you're watching. We had a couple of people that sadly signed but did not actually show up, so we'll be dropping them from the event and burning them.
Am I correct in saying we're still looking at having a 4-round event today because we're plus 16?
Yeah. We have 21 people. Yeah. So
and I'll tell you, I'm really excited to kind of get the show on the road. This is going to be more rounds than we've historically done.
Ever missed.
Some new players in there. Hopefully some interesting deck diversity. I mean, we have some mainstays of the tournament that are likely to bring, they're more typical decks. Like, we've got Gozmit in there, which I presume probably on red deck wins, but they could always surprise us.
Do you mean Season 3 champion Gozmit, perhaps?
Yep. Season 3 champion Gozmit on likely red deck wins. Good mix of mid-range players. We also have
Season 4 champion Arakasi and Season 5 champion Ice Tide 998.
I think Arakasi. Now, my projection on Arakasi, they won with a blue-black mid-rangey kind of tempo deck.
Tempo.
I'm wondering if they're sticking to their guns on that, or if they're going to be switching it up to jump into something else. We haven't really seen a ton of
piloting other decks, so I think Arakasi might surprise us.
That's what I think too. I think they're probably going to change up, but my guess would be they're probably somewhere in a blue shard. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if we see Bug or like a Rug deck or something like that. Bug seems like it might be my guess, though. I think I'd stick with that.
Well, I'm sorry. The matchups, the pairings are up, so we're about to be off to the races. Well, who do you want to be watching?
I honestly don't have the decks in front of me, bud. So you go ahead and choose whichever one you want, and we'll provide some kick-ass commentary on it. I promise you that much. But we could check out Arakasi's game to see what they're on.
We could just do that. Yeah. Actually, I like the sound of that. Let's be on that plan. Let me start here. Thank you. And Luca already took care of copying some amount of the deck list, so that's surely possibly all of them. So that helps a lot. Now
I haven't removed the ones who have dropped, so
yeah, that's fine. I can take care of fixing it up. It's already a lot of help. Actually, Luca, you have the buy, right? So do you want to jump in the booth?
Here.
What I'm kind of curious on in this event is to see how much of Ikoria gets into the tournament. So what's interesting, we haven't had a tournament since Ikoria was available on MTGO. Is that accurate, Red Mage? I believe it is.
That is accurate, yes.
Yeah, so we're going to see quite a few new cards. I mean, like, Ikoria has some interesting cards for the format. I don't know how much mutate we're going to see. The more I've played with it in like limited, and I don't know what you two think on it, the less I'm sure that a lot of it will show up. I think basically what the test comes down to is the card independently good enough, and is the mutate ability powerful? In general, the mutate abilities are powerful. Some of the bodies independently just aren't that relevant in eternal format. But there's quite a few interesting cards.
Never mind. Dudarudi has asked not to show their hands, so let's pick another match.
Okay. I mean, I can also do it without hand cam.
I want hand cams.
Okay. That's not a big deal to me. I mean, most of the games I've honestly commentated on in life were just without hand cam.
What are we gonna
try to get as much hand cam as possible?
Yeah, folks love it. Folks love the hand cam.
It does make things a little easier to.
Yeah, it allows the folks viewing at home to kind of go through the lines in their head and think about how they'd play it, and then rapidly type something silly into Twitch chat.
Do we just want to watch Necro and see whatever?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what they're on. Are they back on their Turbofog deck, or
they're
are
not
they
on Turbofog? Actually, I know what they're on.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Then we should have Balex and Necropotence leave the booth voice channel.
Sure. Could you two please leave the voice channel?
Yeah. Actually, don't leave the voice channel quite yet, because so that I can give you instruction to like get things fixed. But outside of that,
afterwards, then.
Yeah. Afterwards, please go away.
So I'm curious to see what Balex will be on. Balex switches up decks quite a bit. I've played Balex, I believe, 2 or 3 times. And they've been on something different each time. Necropotence tends to favor dirtily controlling decks. typically. I think they have some pedigree in playing Time Vault, blue-black base. Obviously, Turbo Fog is one of the decks that they are more well known for in the event. But they do have a range that I think would generally tend to span into the mid-rangey control spectrum of things. So, be interesting to see what Balex is up to and how it pairs off against what I assume will probably be a generally controlled deck.
Just to recap, Balex has in the past been on white, black, red aggro.
Yeah, no, I've played Balex, like I said, 3 times. They've been on a different deck every time. I'm pretty sure they partake in a rental service. So I think he changes up his deck pretty often.
It's not. I'm not suggesting he's going to have it today, but like the 3-color aggro deck is just not something you usually see.
Well, I don't know. Like Mardu, like. So if you look at like Alex Stacey's list, which like Benjamin Wheeler was gushing about,
sake, I also Necro is on the plan of not sharing the screen. I'm an idiot.
Okay. Okay. Just pick one, bud. We'll keep on BSing. But no, just pick one. We'll keep on BS, and once you're ready to go, let's get the game up and get going. So, but no, Luca, like, honestly, like Alex Stacey, like made that one Mardu list that we got to see. Just, I think it's mostly well known for demolishing cats on Friday Night Paper Fight by LFR. But I mean, that deck, I think, Benjamin Wheeler gushed about it. A lot of players are gushing about it, looking for the deck list. That is for all intents and purposes, like a higher synergy, but still an aggro deck in how it operates, I would say. So I don't think it's like too far out of the realm of possible. I mean, the deck was playing Monastery Swiftspear, so I mean that's I'll give it the aggro card at that point. So I don't think it's too unreasonable. Now, I mean, like you're not wrong. Like when you're playing an aggressive deck, like you want as few things for yourself to go wrong, and when you already are saddling yourself with additional mana requirements, then in an aggressive deck, then you're looking to have one of the elements of your deck go wrong, possibly. So the trade-off tends to, habitually or has historically been, you just go up, you scale up a little bit on the curve, and you get more powerful cards, which gives you a better benefit for having run those colors, the liability you assume. So Mardu is, I think, consistently because of kind of like that building philosophy, or like that once you get the mana base together, you're like, man, my mana sucks. Like, why would I want to play Zergo Bell Strikers? When I can just play a bunch of Planeswalkers, like that argument, I think is made. Mardu tend to be more mid-range historically, but I think there are ways to build it aggressively as well.
As for now that we have no players in the booth, it appears that we can do skills versus loading.
Yeah, I'm already loading it up.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. That'll be good.
So that we can actually get the job done. I'm sorry about this confusion. We had an above average number of players today that can't display their hands. So like I'm not used to actually running afoul of that.
That's no big deal. No big deal, Remy. Just get us up there. And it's funny that you mentioned zkillz is going to be similar covering. I think they've done pretty well in the last couple of Saturday events that Balex runs. Yeah. I think they've been undefeated once or maybe twice now. I think they've performed quite well.
So we have Rocks in the Box, also known as Jeskai Superfriends.
Wait.
What
the hell?
No. Sorry. Rocks in the Box up against Jeskai Superfriends.
Okay, so we're watching mono black.
Green. Green black with a very, very, very small white.
Okay, so I don't know what Rocks in the Box even means. I do know what Jeskai Superfriends is.
It's
we have hands. I'm gonna set them up.
Okay, so Rocks in the Box to me can either be like some sort of like Abzan, like or a rock style control deck, or it could be like just something else. We're gonna see. Loading generally tends to have some decks that are.
It has a couple of reanimation spells.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
I hate myself. I will have to quickly restart the stream so that I can actually capture things. Damn it.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
We'll be back in 10 seconds. Bye.
All right. Yeah, just idea.
We got a game.
All right, let's do it.
Fantastic.
I did see a Jeskai ultimatum, or whatever that ultimatum is actually called. I think it's Jeskai ultimatum.
Yeah.
It's a big card. That's a lot of lands, though.
Well, you're gonna need a lot of lands if you want to have a Jeskai ultimatum.
Inspired ultimatum. Gain 5 life, deal 5 damage, draw 5 cards.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna happen.
The best one out of that cycle,
yes,
right? Like it's not
time walk. It's probably the weakest of the cycle, but that's still 5 cards, right? They're gonna time walk here.
I was going to say I think it's the strongest.
No, that's not the strongest. No, not in my opinion. It's a fine card, but it's kind of like Cruel Ultimatum, right? Like it's a very powerful card, but like
Cruel Ultimatum is the strongest of its original cycle, though.
Sure, but you don't. Does it see play? Does it see play? Is my question, right? It doesn't really.
Well, but the other ones probably don't.
It's gonna do work here, right? Because like we don't have much going on the other side of the board. I guess their opponent does have the ability to put a. Well, they're not going to anymore because this thing's gonna die. They're not gonna cast it. Interesting. They evidently want to save it. I don't know if that's right or not. It is an instant as well, right? So I mean, I guess they could cast it.
Wait, what is an instant?
That ultimatum, I believe.
No, that's a sorcery.
It should have been an instant. It's Jeskai colors. It should have been an instant. That would have made it really cool. But
anyways, they didn't have the mana for it, but they will have next turn.
The problem's going to be the cards are what's going to be relevant here because they can't kill this walker, right? So
it says to any target. How much loyalty does she have?
8.
Yeah,
a million.
Braska goes up to
a million. Yeah, it's just it's hard to kill with damage. You don't want to have a destroy.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot
but
of attack.
Perhaps she can be dealt with one of the 5 cards you draw.
Exactly. Yeah, but she's already resolved at this point. So like you're gonna basically be tapped out. Your opponent's gonna have another turn. They've got. You could probably just kill a creature. Maybe you kill it and then see if you can hit a bolt. Try to mise a bolt. Because you're down to 1, so you could draw Chain Lightning or Bolt. Would do it?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's possible. Or you just kill one of the creatures. Like, because, you got 5 power and man land, or a critical lands on the board. Plus 2 additional power, 7. It's essentially a 2-turn clock. If an additional 2 power thing gets made, you don't have a way to deal with it, but you have Chandra in hand.
Yeah.
I assume the creature lands are probably a little problematic for their deck if they can't go over the top of them. And this is a pretty over the top.
Interesting. They choose to go for the Raska. Wouldn't you try to kill one of the pirates and hope to find an out to Raska?
Well, they were going for their out. They know their deck, I assume, better than we do. I'm not looking at their deck list right now, but Bolt is a card. Bolt or Chain Lightning are cards they could have found.
Oh,
right?
okay, sure. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Is like it's like you either go for the Vraska or you kill one of the things. It just depends on how your deck's built. And they have a Moat in deck, so I mean, like if you're running Moat,
yeah, but the Moat is gonna get destroyed by Raska. Like,
well, not anymore. It's gonna get destroyed by Pernicious Deed.
Yeah, like take your poison.
Yeah, well, you just don't know what you're gonna draw, right? I mean, I trust they've done very well with this deck, right? Like I think they've won 2 Saturday events, so like I trust their playing of it. And I do think there's 2 legit lines there to like either blow up the thing on board or to hit the Vraska and see if you can hit some 3 damage burn. They went for the 3 damage burn, they didn't hit it, but
yeah.
In a minimum, like they did draw decently well. Like this Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale is kind of a pain in the ass. Although their Pern Deed is kind of in a weird spot too, where like they don't really want to have to use it.
Yeah.
Because their board's already developed. But I mean, they've got their OP at what, 16?
Okay. So leading with this Chandra.
Yeah.
Do you exile here or?
I may make mana here. All right, they exile.
I think I would too, but she exiled a Sacred Foundry, dealing 2 damage.
I think if you play this out and then you just play the Moat. No, they don't want to play the Moat. Is there a?
They have enough mana for it.
Not anymore. That Tabernacle isn't tap for mana.
Oh, I couldn't see it's a Tabernacle. I haven't.
Yeah, it's a weird art. Yeah, it's a weird Moto only promo art Tabernacle.
Oh yeah, so now
They didn't want to go for the moat.
Cast either the moat or the zkillz.
No, interesting lineup play. Again, I think I would have made mana there, but I don't know. I mean, like, I could see it going either way. They also know that there's a Pern Deed on board, so they may want to try to get their opponent to pop it. The problem is their opponent's not incentivized to pop that Pern Deed. They're just not at all, right? Like, you just sit on it and just wait. Because, I mean, these walkers are just going to die to the tax if you want to kill the walkers with the attacks. I assume you do. There's a Mox.
So it keeps one of the pirates.
Yeah, they just want to kill Vraska. I'm sorry, Sandra. They want to kill the Planeswalker.
Yeah, but then why pay for one of the pirates? Isn't it gonna die?
Because you don't have enough mana to pay for both critter lands to attack. Right, you're one short.
Oh,
actually, you may not have been. You may not have been if. Well, you didn't know you're drawing the Mox, so they drew the Mox your land. They could have not paid for it and then activated both critter lands. But I'd rather have them like. I mean, I guess if they're going to spend removal, they're going to spend it on the Treetop Village anyways if they have it. But again, like I'd rather them have just remove my pirate tokens over.
And now Vraska is back up at a high loyalty count. Like
and like we're kind of back where we were last turn, and like nothing's really changed all that much except they lost
a couple of turns ago.
Yeah, so I mean they're going to play this card out. I'm not a fan of this card. This Narset.
Yeah.
And it can be good. They're going to have to moat here more than likely.
For sure the worst of the Narsets, though, right?
Yeah. She can be good. I mean, if you're sitting behind a moat, she can be really good. And this card right here can also
but the other
out.
ones, one of them is... The new one is, like, reasonable.
Infinitely
and the second one better. Broke everything.
Infinitely better. Infinitely. This is the worst Narset by far. Actually, one of the new Narsets in the graveyard. So talking about Aquaria cards, you got one right above second to bottom of graveyard.
Not even a moat. What?
Well, I think they're looking to just buy draw steps here. I really don't think they want to lose their moat. The problem is Pern Deed is not something that you're going to pop in response to Planeswalkers, right? Like, you're just not going to. It's not a thing you do. So they're going to pop it for 2?
Okay. To destroy
the search for Skata. That's very aggressive, but okay. I mean, I guess you still have the
skills, played to his outs, and the outs were there. Like, now the moat's gone. No, not the moat.
But moat can still be dealt with by the Vraska, so it's certainly not definitive.
This is one step closer. Like, I would take this position to the previous position.
And I think here I would be more inclined to have killed the Gideon there as opposed to playing the Tusk out. Just because Tusk is just going to get blanked by the Gideon of the Trials. And you're kind of in the same spot with an additional 1 or additional 2/2 in play. This can get back either Time Warp or Ultimatum. They get back the Ultimatum, which is going to be able to ding the Vraska. This Ultimatum's doing work.
Yeah, but it's not killing it. It's drawing a lot of cards, and it's keeping the Vraska low.
I think I think 5 cards is very substantial. So
okay.
I think it's enough that in 5 life too, not to mention. So I mean, like they
by 5 cards, you mean 10 cards?
Yeah,
Narset Transcendent can go down and give it rebound.
Sure.
Which is that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Well, the thing is too, like they need to use their mana, right? So I mean, their mana is going to be tied up doing this.
Yeah.
And I believe can both their walkers be killed? So I assume the Thragtusk gets nerfed by the Chad. This is going to kill, I guess, the Vraska. You can kill off the Vraska this way. So it takes the board advantage off, and then it unlocks your moat. So honestly, that may just be good enough.
Was the Narset ticked down?
Yeah, they're going to rebound this. So they're going to shoot. They're going to shoot. And actually, this doesn't kill the...
No, Vraska will go to 1 because it
just goes to 1. Yeah, it goes up to. It would be going up to 11. But that puts it outside of the range of down ticking, which I believe is a -3 ability to kill the moat.
Yes,
which is cool and pretty good. And if they hit a bolt, they can just kill it too. It's a lot of cards. I think I wonder with like these Walker decks is how well they do against other blue decks, like more blue decks than like combo decks, which I think is probably their biggest liability. And frankly, it's not a bad choice in like the metagame that we've seen kind of develop in the 10th point. Like we've seen some Academy, but like I think it's pretty rare that we see like hard Storm decks or like Time Vault decks. I don't think we've seen a ton of. Maybe some, but not a ton.
Mm.
I think it's probably the biggest liability these style of decks like tend to have because they're very board interactive, but they're not that way.
How did the Rakdos die?
I'll be honest, I wasn't paying that much attention. They may have just not paid for it.
Oh, of course, and now they're reanimating it.
It's possible. I wasn't paying that much attention. See,
again, that art, it's fucking with me. It's
Oh, the Tabernacle, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I assume we kill the Chad here, but I don't know. I can see it going either way. I mean, you're not racing them on life now. They're going to gain 7 more. Probably looking at a board sweep here with the bonfire as well.
Mm.
I have in the mana count. It's possible that they can also get this Saheeli down first and then still do the bonfire for enough to board wipe 3-6. Close. I think they're 1 off from doing both. All right, so this thing goes down to 1. They draw 5 more cards. That's a lot of cards.
Another Gideon.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of walkers out of them, that's for sure.
Oh, Wheel Candrit. That's a spicy one.
Yeah. I think that's the... Will is the worst of the two, right?
No, Will is the better of the two.
Will's pretty good.
Yeah. Will is a good one, but you also sometimes play the other one just to fetch Will.
You
right?
could, yeah, you
Yeah,
could.
I don't think you do very often. It's still like 6 mana.
I mean,
like...
Will Kenrith is a card that only sees play in this style of deck, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a card that really has other decks. It's I mean, you could play it in Academy decks, but it wouldn't be a best in slot decision. It's powerful, but it's just very expensive. So yeah, bonfire, sweep the board, makes sense.
Cleans
They actually
the
were
board state up fine.
This what?
It's
it wipes the
basically as
Planeswalker off.
clean as this board state is gonna get.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, and loading can't see it, but at this point, you could just pack it in.
Yeah.
You could just concede here.
I mean, loading can see that the zkillz has 8 cards in hand. That
yeah,
much he can.
I'm wondering why the Saheeli didn't get played first. I guess if you play her, she doesn't really change all that much because they have basically, 6-8 power on board. So I guess it doesn't technically change that much. So I guess it's fine just to play on some mana here.
Yeah, so...
Then moat next turn and just lock the game up.
Yep. The Narset is probably gonna bite the bullet.
Yeah, Narset kind of did her job, though. I mean, she drew. She helped draw 10 cards.
She drew 5 cards, basically, right?
Yeah. She replaced herself. She did well.
More than twice over.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I were in a loadings position here, I'd just pack it in. I mean, they're going to see this time walk and, like, whatever else they decide to play next turn and then know the jig is up. There's there's no way you're winning this unless they have a meteor strike their house. And that's one of the things with Planeswalkers, right? I mean, they can definitely snowball, and if you're on more of a fair mid-rangey archetype or, what loading's on, like, it can be very challenging once they get ahead, if they manage to get ahead. All right. What are we going to opt to show? Like, this is like one of those places where, like, zkillz is probably determining what's the best thing to show my opponent to get them to concede without having to show them more. Although at this point, this deck is fairly public. This is, I believe, the deck they've been running in the Saturday events. I guess we do get to see if they have the red partner card. They did not reveal, I don't think. You all still there?
Yeah, I'm still around. Sorry.
Okay, you got very quiet. I was like, all right, well, it's just me here.
no.
It was like dead air. It was like real dead air. So I was like, all right, did the stream go down? Am I just sitting here talking?
We're both quiet at the same time.
Too easy. I'm used to having Necropotence in the booth.
Yeah, she's never quiet.
No, that's not a thing. That's not a thing that's done. All right,
but yeah, this is. I think like even if these two players don't have seen each other play before, and I think they have, at this point you're not guessing too much when it comes to what is in each other's decks. Like,
I mean, yeah, no. I mean, like, I'll be honest. Like, the Planeswalker deck can play so many goddamn Planeswalkers, right? The base of the deck is fast mana and board control, in my opinion. The Planeswalkers are kind of just gravy, so like you're playing for information to see what other Planeswalkers they have. Now, if I was in zkillz position, like I'm gonna play as few of them as I have to win. You know, personally, like, 'cause I just don't want to show them more of them. They also are opting not to show them the mode, I guess. I mean, it makes sense to play the moat on your extra time walk turn because it doesn't do anything on the next turn, whereas these Planeswalkers uptick after a time walk. So that makes sense, but I'm wondering if they will look to show it to them or if they'll just show them the Gideon here and try to go to town from there.
Maybe get in an attack with the 7/7 before you.
I'm wondering what their point structure is in this too. If they're on Moxen, obviously, but I'm wondering if they're on Academy as well. If it's like Trip Moxen Academy.
I can't tell you that.
That'd be my guess. Academy plus Trip Moxen. Or Mox
have
who are you talking about? Sorry, I kind of got distracted.
We have triple. Actually, it's more like 5 Mox, but the rest isn't pointed.
Yeah, so they have 3 Mox and
Amber, Mox Diamond, Opal. But yeah, then we have Pearl, Ruby, Sapphire, so that's actually 6.
So the Academy is their last card, is their last pointing card? Or no?
Academy is where is that? I can't find it, but it's in there.
Is Tolarian Academy? So it could be Volt too. They could be running Volt or Balance. Could be a card they run, but like that doesn't seem. They're pretty landed.
Tolarian Academy is not in there.
That's viable. I mean, like you could put Balance in there. You could put Mana Vault if you wanted to for like more turbo mana.
Balance, yeah, they have a Balance.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of lands, but it makes sense. I mean, it's definitely doable. Yeah, they are concealing this moat, which I don't mind. I think that's actually kind of a good call. Just conceal that moat.
I like that they're kind of under their own tabernacle at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't matter all that much, though.
No,
I mean, like,
it
doesn't really matter.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. I mean, their OP will be dead in another attack step? One attack step, exactly.
Yeah. So now they are going to have to...
Well, no, it doesn't change anything. It would take cards not in the game of Magic to win here.
Well, yeah, but still, like, even though it's not a winning draw, it's an interesting draw.
Yeah, I mean, kill a Walker, but there's like 4 of them on the board. That's a lot. Just grinding. Yep, so we got to see what the Planeswalker deck does there, which is cement, live, stay alive, and then draw a bunch of cards and play a bunch of Walkers and eventually snowball your opponent out.
Oh, they're going to probably make any... Oh, wait.
I guess that one's over.
That was game 1, right?
I think that was game 1. I think they're just making a new game because this one lost.
Yeah, they're going to make a new game too.
Oh, because zkillz is down to 10 minutes and 22 seconds. That makes sense. That seems sensible. Yeah, definitely not the most time-efficient way to play the game, for sure. Well, we got a mulligan on...
Oh, they switched! Damn.
zkillz hand looks fine. Looks pretty good. I guess it's a little awkward. It doesn't have white mana for this Enlightened Tutor to get after turbo mana. I don't know. I guess I can't see the whole land. All right, loading's hand looks fine. I keep that.
Oh, they switched places.
They flip-flopped, yeah, because they started a new game.
Damn.
All right. zkillz tends to agree with me. Like, the hand was a little awkward. It was a little too awkward for them.
Yeah.
So they go ahead and pack that one in. Humility is a pretty big beating for creature decks, to say the least. Tends to be a good one. So I suppose we will see.
I wonder though what they're gonna be playing on turn 3, the Thrun or the Ursa? Not the Ursa.
I think depends on how loading plays it, right? But like me personally, you just kill this deck. You don't try to out control the Planeswalker deck. You try to kill them. I play Thrun because I want to just beat their face in. Like, I just want to kill them as fast as I can because, like, as the game goes longer, they're casting shit like Jeskai ultimatums or whatever that ultimatum's called, and just, like, blowing my crap up, gaining a bunch of life, drawing a bazillion cards. Like, no thanks. I just want to kill you before that matters. And that's the downside to some of those cards, right? Those more expensive cards. And, like, one of the liabilities this style of deck can have is that, like, it's very powerful when it gets to a mid to long game, but, like, when you punch in the face of the Goblin guy, yeah, when you punch in the face of the Goblin guy, like, you can just kill it, right? That's kind of, I think, how you have to approach it.
Yep, for sure.
That's how I would at least approach it. All right. So this ramp spell not really proffering them all that much right now.
It does allow.
No, it stays neutral.
Yeah, but it allows.
It allows an activation of DRS next turn in conjunction with Thrun, which I guess is slightly relevant if they use either of these two pain mana sources in their hand to do anything. The other downside is there's not. Well, maybe there will be another sorcery in the graveyard now to be used. We also know Humility is just going to blank this Thrun. We can see that.
But
the good news for
it's still from loading specific.
You play it 100%. Yeah, you definitely play it.
By far the best line.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know by far, but it is. I think it is too. Like, I think you want to just kill them dead.
Unless they, like.
Oh, they can do all of it now. That actually gives them.
Do it all.
Yeah, they can. They can play all of this stuff and things. I believe. Yeah, they can. They have all the stuff and things.
Wait, no. That they have 4 mana in lands and enchantments, and only 3 mana after that. And
oh, you're right. All right, they're one short.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. They are one short. So they're gonna have 2 power on the board next turn, and they're gonna get moted. All right, they don't attack there. I mean, I don't know how much it matters, but like it does matter a bit. So here's the time walk. So they're gonna time walk here. Like, I guess that's the best you can hope to do with the brainstorm on the time walk. Right now it's just explore, which is gonna give your OP an extra attack step. Like, me personally, I almost just don't want to cast this. I just want to get the humility down.
No, but they're gonna play their land this turn and then
play
humility on the next.
I guess it is what it is. I mean, like, you couldn't really put it any further down. I guess you could have used, like, last turn. You could have. No, I guess you didn't have the mana to cast out the Mind Stone and also leave a Preordain. I'm just trying to think through ways that you could, like, possibly set it up with, like, one of your walkers. Like, it's fine, but it's just an explorer. Like,
it is.
Yeah.
It's an explorer that costs 0 mana and a
2
life.
2 mana, right?
Oh, but you untap, unlike
with
the explorer.
Sure. All right. Well, there's a DOJ. That's kind of just the same card. I guess it's a slightly upgraded version of humility. They can do it for sick rubbins because you can regenerate under DOJ, but there's no regeneration mana up.
Yeah.
And technically, they could have used the Dark Ritual to have cast the Thrun and leave up regeneration mana. Not that probably would have been the wisest play, but like, they could have done it.
Yeah, they're gonna wipe the board.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I had a friend that, for the longest time, because of the existence of Thran in his blue-white control sideboard in Modern, would play Wrath of God over Supreme Verdict. Specifically because it dealt with Thran. And then nobody's playing Thran anymore in Modern. But
that Pern Deed's actually, in my opinion, decently big.
Doesn't kill walkers, though.
No, but they have a thing that can make threats.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Which I think, honestly, this turn I would have just made a threat. But I think I would have just made a 1/1 and just started to chomp on him. Now, given that doesn't work with your Pern Deed, and I get that. It's kind of rough that way, but, like, I'm kind of hoping that they're just dead. Like, they don't have shit, you know, which right now it could be very feasible they don't have anything, you know. They haven't done all that much, just blowing up the board. That's a powerful card.
Yeah.
The problem with that card is, though, it's tough to, like, find the time for it. It's like,
Yeah.
Once you have the time for it, you're not going to lose if you get untapped with it. Like,
yeah, but finding a spot where you can just jam 4 mana onto the battlefield to do absolutely nothing is super rough.
Sure.
But, like, if they find, like, an opt or something like that, then it's immediate value.
I kind of like
at the
just
very least.
blowing the board to pieces here and then making an idjit afterwards. Kind of like that.
So, play land.
Yeah, they're going to draw. I would have liked making a 1/1 after that, but okay. Yeah, just blow up the board.
If you're going to blow up the Sarkhan, the 1/1 would go too, right?
You make the 1/1 second main, or after you've activated your...
No, but then the your own Planeswalker would die too, right?
Pern Deed does not kill Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
It was made for it.
Oh.
It specifically holds out enchantments.
Yeah. I mean, if it was a modern card, it would. Like,
but now because Sarkhan is...
But it's a 5-drop, right? It's a 5-drop. So if they had 5, well,
so
they technically do, but they don't know that, right? So, like, I like this play of turning the Sarkhan on. They're gonna get ranched by it because their opponent has a Dark Ritual. You're just like,
this is the sickest shit.
It's pretty sick. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You're just like, well, good beats, but you know, like they still have this enchantment. Like I mean, they still have this enchantment that can recuperate them. Like the humility's fine. I mean, it draws a card. It cycles. They're at 11 though, and like their mana base is beating them up pretty bad right now, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I still don't think Jeskai is out of this by a long shot. I think they have two. They have one very powerful card, and they have a card that will recycle itself into another card.
In reality, even though this was like interesting and intricate Magic rules, but like we are probably gonna see out of zkillz if loading doesn't start down ticking to make some threads. Like
yeah, I mean it also depends on what they draw here. If they draw a way to remove this thing right away, then all right, well, that's not a way to remove it. So the problem is with down ticking, like humility still turns into 1/1s, right?
Regenerate target creature.
Yeah, it's an old card from what is that, Odyssey or Torment? Like it makes a colorless widget. You green tap it and it regenerates a creature. Regenerates a target creature. So it's any target creature, so you can actually target your opponent's stuff with it, which can come up with like Phantasmal Image and like Phantasmal Bear, Phantasmal Dragon, even some random stuff. You could use it to get the first what is it? What's that stupid blob? Why can't I think of her name right now? Red Mage, help me. What's this 2/2 flyer? Kira. You can use it to get rid of the first Kira.
Oh, right. The first Kira shield. Yeah. Kira Great Glass Beam. There you go.
Yeah, my Hollow is a crazy card. It's actually, like, the old cards that actually target your opponent's stuff are really cool to me. I always thought they were sick. Alright. You gotta blow up this stupid card draw. There's Kira. There's a Dovin, a Bond. They're gonna draw here, I think. Yep.
Yeah, they really don't want to tap this anymore.
Yeah, they're not under a huge clock, though. But they could just whiff. It's possible.
Yeah.
Could.
Can't have exiled at the minute.
What's that now? I don't know, to be honest. I haven't seen their exile zone. I do not know if there's anything relevant there. That's a good question, though.
That is their exile zones. You wanted them, you have them.
Massacre Worm. That's a big boy. Yeah,
that is a large lad.
Yeah, Rock. Well, this card is straight up upgraded. Can attack now. Great. I mean, I'm being a little facetious, but actually it is upgraded in this situation. Rock, I think, is going to tend to have a tough time with this matchup. Like, seeing cards like Massacre Worm just like makes me think that, like, Loading's deck is not as well set up to deal with what it is that zkillz deck is doing. I think this is going to tend to be a struggle bus of a matchup. But I think we're going to see zkillz pull out of this one. I do. I mean, they may not, but like, yeah. Even if we go to game 3, I'd have to say I strongly think they're advantaged. I tend to think that, but yeah, when you have cards like Massacre Worm, which Massacre Worm is like great against a lot of like Death and Taxes deck. You know, red deck wins is fine. Like it's a top end. You know, it's not great, but it's fine. It does kill them fast, and it kills a bunch of small idiots.
Much important life gain from Dovin.
Yeah, and it's gonna be tough to pack on damage. Like maybe they have a sword. If they have a sword or something like that, like a Sophie would be really good here. How do you like Mock Sapphire the cantrips? I know I do.
It's
A lot
pretty
of lands,
good.
though. Yeah, it's pretty good. Tough spot.
To be fair, it's pretty good even when it doesn't cantrip, but you know.
Yeah, it's maybe one of the best cards in Magic. It's up there.
Like the 4th or 5th best card ever printed or something like that.
I don't know. Well, that land is actually not a bad draw because it's probably the biggest creature in their deck. Actually, Treetop Villages, we know that's in their deck. So we chip in. Do we just kill this Dovin or do we go to face here? I don't know, guys.
Well, Dovin is gonna gain you life.
Yeah. Track it all. I just don't. Yeah. I mean, I guess you just kill the Dovin. They're already at 7 bin. Yeah. It's not a great spot. This card has gotten them a lot of lands, though. What do they have now? They have a bunch of lands. Myriad Landscape. Yeah, they're on more of a controlling rock list. I mean, they have some mid-range cards, but I just don't think they're the kind that pack damage in. Whereas, like, if you're, like, for instance, on, like, red deck wins against this position, like, I don't feel bad at all about it, to be honest. But I think it'll be very close to... I think this is going to get locked up right now with the Search for his Content plus this Planeswalker hitting the board here. And Time Walk, etc. Yeah, there's Chandra. She can sweep the board. Well, I think we
But
have...
it appears to do instead this... Is that an RP? No, that's not an RP.
No, that's a Chandra and a Capture Seed. It's a Time Walk. It's Capture Zing Zhao. I can't say.
It's the 5 mana turn spell.
It's a Time Walk. Yeah, it's just a Time Walk. It says target... or actually, you take an extra turn after this one.
I was unfamiliar with this one. And it had sort of the same colors as an upheaval, so that was where
it does. Yeah,
it was.
it does look pretty similar to upheaval. It's an old one. You don't see it as often. It's PK3 or Portal 3.
Okay.
So that Mox Opal is still doing nothing. So I guess you pass it back to yourself, and you can sweep with Chandra. I guess you could Tefers here if you wanted to. I don't think there's much their opponent can really do here, to be honest, though. I think they're just dead. I mean, like, if they have a Miser's Emrakul in their deck, maybe they could win. Wait, it doesn't activate because there's a humility on the board, so that wouldn't work. I don't know. I don't know what works here, guys.
They drew the path.
That doesn't matter.
No, for the man land.
The land, sure. Yeah, I mean, I just think this is really over. I think it's really over. I mean, like, we got to see this this card, this enchantment, kind of just take away the game, and it could if you're not pressuring the deck, right? It just did. It's just you're seeing 2 to 3 extra cards every turn. It's like, yep. And they're powerful cards too. Like they're playing very powerful effects and cards, very, big bomby cards. They're just going to take away the game. So, I do commend loading for troopering it out. Like, this is being a real trooper here. You kill off the board. Woof. Oh, they're going to regen one of their things. You can't kill me. So one of the walkers will take a damage.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's
and
that's
that's
land.
not what you want to see.
No, and they don't even again. They don't have anything in exile. They really want to get back with Karn, so it's like, that's kind of why I've been saying I don't think their deck's well set up to beat this one. Yeah. Massacre Worm's not even the card you really want in this matchup. Again, Shriekmaw, they're more I think set up to interact with board-based creature decks, right?
Yeah.
Not Wrath of God,
But usually, even in control matchups, the body is relevant.
Yeah, I mean, you could
the 1/1
trade for your 1/1. You could trade with your 1/1. Actually, no, I wouldn't even trade it. Just big on 1/1. Actually, I'm trying to think now. If you cast it for its evoke cost, would it lose that ability? No, it would still die. I think to evoke. Red Mage can tell us. He's a judge. If I cast my Shriekmaw
and Lorien packs it in.
Yeah, that makes 100% sense. If I cast my Shriekmaw for evoke under active humility, does it die to the evoke trigger? I think it does, but I'm not sure.
Huh?
It loses the ability. But
I'm asking a judge because I honestly don't.
I think if you cast if you cast a Shriekmaw under a humility, even if you evoke it, it will not die.
Okay, I'll buy it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'd be willing to cast it to see what happened.
Evoke MTG. 2 seconds.
It's an interesting question. I don't know why it would ever be relevant other than being able to cast a more efficient 1/1.
Oh, okay.
Than a 5-mana.
It's 2 separate abilities.
Yeah.
In rules terms, and that's why it doesn't get sacrificed, because it loses the second static ability on the battlefield. Yeah, so it does not get sacrificed.
I don't know why Lorien posted his result, but in the Look Into Jam channel.
That's a mistake many players have made during the last season, so I can't really fault him.
Well, we moved to one of the back tables for now. We have Dudarudi versus Arakasi. Arakasi appears to be back on his blue-black tempo deck.
Oh.
Can't beat the classics.
Well, from the board state, it appears that you can.
Well, you know.
Oof. A force spike this late in the game. That's
a thing that'll happen against red deck wins, though, right? You get them on a round board. Force Spike's a card that, I think, and sorry, I lost connectivity there for a second. I had a storm over on my end. It's a card that a lot of folks, I think, will discount. And, I was not talking crap on it before this started, but I was, kind of chatting with, why, Force Spike is, kind of a gamble. But it is a card that, if your deck is built to play it, you will be able to use it as a second or third counter spell on a relevant turn, even in the late game. But most of the time you think of it as being an early game, hey, I'm on the play or I'm on the draw, and I counter your 2-drop on turn 1 or whatever, which is great there. That all said, Arakasi is still very dead. I think
consistently. Oh, there you go. There's Akira. We were talking about that before.
Yeah. What did we find out about the evoke on?
Your Shriekmaw will not die.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I figured. But I was curious. All right. Yep.
The evoke is a cost and a static ability which triggers from the battlefield, and because
the static ability is stifled, right? So it's gone.
Yeah.
So the cost part is relevant to hand. Yeah, got it. I just didn't know how it would work. I didn't know how it would work in replacements. So one of the things, we didn't get to catch a lot of that matchup, but that's a tougher one for blue-black. I think in general, your Death and Taxes decks, your red deck win style decks, I guess it's Goblins in this case, but it's just red deck wins, is going to be pretty tough. Put an aggro threat on blue black tempo, and they're going to tend to fold, I think, pretty quickly. But they could definitely win it. But tough.
And just with that, we have the end of the round. Arakasi is complaining that he threw a land into a pop and kind of threw the match away that way. You hate to hear it, but
you do. We didn't really see enough of it to catch that part, but that's unfortunate. And we've got Alex MTG saying that the Evo card still does die. Oh, is it? That's Balex right there?
Yeah, it is Balex.
Oh, okay. They're saying it still does die. I don't know. I think we found out it doesn't, but I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure that's incorrect, but I'll have to double
yeah,
check. Based on what the ability said and my understanding of how the rules work, is it should not die, but I will make sure of that offline, honestly.
How does humility work with mutate layering? I'm just kidding.
Please never ask that to me again.
Judge.
I can actually give you the answer.
It's still going to be a 1-1.
The mutated creature does not have any of the abilities.
That one, I actually know how it works. I was just being a jackass, just ask a question. The Evoke one, I did not know. I did not know one. I was like, I'm not sure. Curious. Not that I would ever really be like, if I have a humility and I have an Evoke creature, the only reason I'm playing Evoke is to get a cheaper creature, a cheaper 1/1 at that point over a more expensive 1/1. So it's not really like it comes up to play all that often.
Everybody's results noted except for WhiteNoise versus Juliee. So let me see if I can, because I don't see their game. So,
but they are still in their own voice channel.
Okay.
So maybe they just knew they weren't gonna be on camera and so challenged.
They could have, yeah.
Well, unless they are, both of their names are completely different, because there is a game going.
Let me see if I should have MTG up. I was to say I know I'm buddies with both of them. I can tell you if they're playing a game or not.
No, these are 60 hertz decks. No, yeah, no. Okay, so TheSoundOfWhiteNoise won 2-1. We have that result.
Sweet. So once we get the results computed here, we should be able to jump forward into the next round.
Yeah, I'm posting round 2 right now. Luha even gets to play this one.
100 greater than 60. Yeah, last I checked.
Can confirm that is how math.
I just play four Ancestral Recalls, 4 Force of Wills, and 4 Wastelands. It plays just like a Legacy deck. I was actually joking about that recently. Like Arakasi saying 230 greater than 100. And how I think one of the big pulls to the newer formats that folks play, like Gladiator, like newer Highlander formats. One of the big pulls is the deck building and the power level of it. The power level is metered just by a more limited pool that in general is a little bit less diverse in how it can attack the game. Very powerful in how it attacks the game, but very it's very board based, right? Modern Magic's more board based. A little more snowbally. But you really have a lot more decisions to make in deck building, whereas when you kind of get back, it's funny, the bigger the format gets, and you get to Canadian Highlander, the more, in my opinion, the homogenized the card pool can get, because if you want to win habitually, you're generally locked into some fairly, similar archetypes or strategies. And one of the things I was BSing about, when you're talking 230 over 100 is I've built recently a couple Battle of Wits decks, and the interesting thing to me was that it felt like I was building in 2010 again, because I actually felt like I had to make more decisions about what I wanted to include in my deck or what was worthwhile.
Yeah, the decision on your 200th card is a lot harder than the decision on your
it matters, right? It matters, and I had to put thought into it. Whereas if I'm building a blue X deck, 100 cards, I have 4 to 5 flex slots, the rest of them just kind of choose themselves. You're yep, get in there, buddy. Yep, I know you, get in there, or the hardest decisions may be, am I playing Miscalc and Spell Pierce in this build, or whatever, and so it's You say that Arakasi, and like I don't know, like maybe at some point you'll see like a bigger deck format, because it is kind of fun to have to go through that thought process. At least for me, like I enjoy building, and that's a very fun aspect of it for me. Plus, you get to see like random dorky cards, like how often do you see Dismiss anymore? Like you just see a Dismiss get thrown out there, in a 300 400 card deck,
I think a format like that would have to be online though.
Oh yeah, you can't shuffle it.
You
I mean,
can't
yeah,
shuffle
you're talking like a 500 or 1,000 card deck. Like you're not shuffling that fucker.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, like that's kind of where things are going, right? I mean, maybe not MTGO based, but a lot of it's going online now. More and more people are playing online and
recent events,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That as well, a lot easier to grind online, but we'll see. I just think it's interesting to kind of think through, like, how do you get back to, or how do you get to a format where like folks feel like they're making relevant decisions during deck building, because right now, like, that's one of the challenges I run into is I'm like, I'll lose my steam because I'll be like going to build a deck and I'm like, well, I gotta play this, and then like at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, well, I got 4 to 5 slots to play with, and ship it. Let's play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You've been playing not just this format, but singleton formats for a really, really long time. So like when you're at that point, it must be hard to be like as creative, I guess, as a new player who has like fresh eyes can just come in with a really weird deck that doesn't work.
Sure. Yeah, and like even for me, like looking at like for instance, like zkillz deck, like the deck obviously just ran rampant on black-green there, right on the rock. But like I look at some of the cards and like I start thinking about like, all right, how does this deck beat Storm? How does this deck beat Time Ball? And like the legit answer is it doesn't. And like to me that kind of kills it for me because I'm like, this deck's really cool, it's really sweet, but like, it's not gonna duke it down at the top,
Yeah,
it's kind of one of the problems that I run into with when I start looking at decks. Probably because I have played a few of them, and it could be that. It could just be experience. But I do legitimately think that, like, over time, that range of what is kind of acceptable to be at a level that you're going to win a lot more games than you're going to lose is narrowed down a lot. I guess is my point. My knowledge is too. So I mean, that could be, maybe it's just from where I sit, like it just looks that way. But I do think like the range, like that range of stuff that you really get to like put a signature on is kind of narrowed down significantly. I mean, you can obviously still play whatever the hell you want to play, right? It's just a fun format, but like if you want your deck to also be good, right? Like to play good games of Magic and win.
I mean, that might be part of where you're blind. You have a blind spot because you think about the meta game, right? And you're like, how do I beat Storm? How do I beat Red Deck Wins? How do I beat this? How do I beat that? So then you don't play certain things that you might try otherwise.
Okay, well, don't get me wrong. I try a lot of different stuff, but like I play a lot of different decks, right? I build a lot of different decks. I don't put all of them online. Like I don't put all of my tapped out. But I play a lot of different decks. And I build a lot of different decks. I mean, from Sui Black to like literal aggro Storm. Like I play some bad decks. Like I play some decks, like not bad decks, but I play decks that like I call bad. They're not really bad. They've won a lot of games. They beat people, but like they're like to me like I tend to look to try to break the format, right? When I build, like that's kind of what I'm looking at, or like I try to study a certain thing, like what's control in Canadian Highlander. And to me, that's a very interesting kind of like question. Is like, what is control in Canadian Highlander? It's just basically more of a mid-range deck now, but stuff like that. And like, I think it can be.
That's an interesting discussion in itself. Like, is everything just becoming more mid-rangified? Like the distinctions between tempo and mid-range seem to be breaking down. The distinctions between control and mid-range.
That's a long.
Well, I mean, control is kind of going one of two different directions, right? Control can either become more mid-range or can become more combo. Like decks like.
Whoa. Okay. Hang on. We're seeing powerful magic over there.
Yeah. There's some magic going on.
So we got a fast bond. All right, I'm a little delayed, so I just caught the fast bond. It's either going to be powerful nothing or powerful something. I haven't seen what the payoff is on this yet.
Typically, when there's a fast bond involved, it's powerful nothing.
I often see powerful nothing too. Like they'll like power on a bunch of lands. Like I'll spell snare or spell pierce or whatever their first play, and then they have nothing, and then I just sit there and counter their shit. Or whatever.
I think this might be it. I'm getting. I got a sneak peek of the hand while I was getting things set up, and I don't think there's much actually going on. But
fast bond's the first part in a lot of combo chains.
Are we seeing a one land on instant queue here, and they're just trying to delay by getting rid of the opt? Is that
possible? Well, they have a strip mine, so they're looking to keep them off lands, evidently.
Oh, I see now. Yes, that is.
And they have some selection themselves. They're on bug lands.
That is a.
Yeah, no. In between rounds, I'll
102.
I'll BS control with you in between rounds if you want to BS control and like what I kind of think. I don't think Red Mage is wrong, but I think he's You have to win the game, is what it is, right?
No, I know.
You have
but
to
my
win.
point.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Is
like, it's just,
I agree. I agree with you. The other thing is that the other way that you can do that is you put a combo in your deck.
It doesn't matter how you do it. You just have to win the game. Like you
Yeah,
gotta win the game.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm
you're right. That's
100%
one of the ways
with
you do it. So let's get back to this game though. There's a bunch of lands in hand.
Yeah, we're seeing lands draw a lot of lands. So.
What is that blue card in the far left there? Return target creature.
That is Stern Dismissal.
I actually don't know that card.
No.
It's unsummoned, but it's only your opponent's stuff, but it's also enchantment. I'll put it
Okay.
on.
All right.
All right.
I assume we're seeing blue-green tempo.
I mean, Stern Dismissal can bounce a Merit Lodge.
Can.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, yeah. Okay.
Also has a picture of Ephara on it, which is my favorite out of the gods.
Yeah.
I do like the cards for this this matchup in the land's hands, but the land player really needs to draw something else to do.
Needs to do something, yeah.
Yeah.
You need to win games. Like that's the biggest thing. We're just talking about control a little bit, right? Like you just got to win games.
Oh,
and, like,
that's something. Hello.
I didn't see what
That's
they
a
did.
loam.
It's a loam. That's pretty good.
Yep, that's
It's gonna.
that's a lock.
That's
well,
a
not
lock, yeah.
necessarily. Hold up.
It gets the
Hold up.
like with the tabernacle, like that. That
Yeah,
means
but-
the creatures can't.
Yeah,
anything.
but there are draws, right? You can draw into
There are
force
draws.
negation. Force negation is a draw.
That
If
puts
they're running a
delays it
mox-
turn, doesn't it?
If they're running a Mox, they could Vendilion Cleek away the loam.
Oh yeah,
You
that's a good point.
There's a couple things that can happen here. I mean, like yes, like 90% of the time they're just this just sucks and you're just dead. You know, you're like, all right, great, you know, and you just go to the
There's
game
fast
next game.
fund as well, which is that's brutal. Yeah, we're never seeing the click getting played realistically.
No, probably not. I mean, they'd have to legitimately draw Mox there
Yeah,
to have done it.
They
Yeah, I would just see my
bounce the fast bond with their Stern Dismissal.
Yeah, I would see my draw step and then concede the game. Is what I would probably do from this point.
yeah, and they
Unless they are running Black Lotus in their deck. Yep. Because you
Lotus
could, like,
Flip
Vendilion
is,
Cleek is a legit
yeah.
card in blue to deal with this kind of combo, this, like, lands combo. It's one of the issues the blue decks can have if they don't get pressure down early is, yeah, lands could be an issue if you don't get pressure. But from the looks of things, Balex is running some pressure. I don't know how high on Uro I am in this deck. Uro's a very good card, so don't get me wrong.
Uro seems more mid-range value.
Control,
Possibly even
yeah.
control, yeah.
Yeah, like just a ramp. He's good in ramp. I just don't know if I'm that high on him in like a tempo style deck where you're just committing 3 mana to
Yeah,
gain
me
some
either.
life and draw a card, maybe put a land in play.
Then again, having him in the graveyard is like not the worst. Like
Not at all. It's a
just-
very good card.
just strong, yeah. And I don't think the blue-green version of this deck is really taking too much advantage of their graveyard in the way other variants might be.
No, you get like what dig through time, and then like the pump
Peruse,
spell
maybe,
become
if
immense.
You're doing both, but you're probably not doing both.
Well, in Rug, you don't really have to run as many pump spells. So you have the burn, you know, and he burns a
Yeah.
little better than pump spells generally. It just does a little more.
All right, so this is the sort of hand I'd expect the tempo to have an advantage in. It hasn't got the brutal strip mine lock.
Yeah, but the problem with the tempo hand is it doesn't really have pressure.
Yeah, no, it has no
Has
creatures.
nothing going on. You know, it just counters some stuff. Has a 5 mana counter
It's
spell.
preordained though. Should be and a werebear. They got a werebear now. That's it.
Okay. Oh, bear, give it to him, bear. Just get him.
Yeah.
Come
Get
on,
him.
bear. Now, I'm gonna say this much: they have the right wild mongrel art in their deck. I'm sorry, Balex. You gotta have the right werebear art, man. I try not to harp card art, but like that card art, like it's just so iconic. Like I just love the old bear.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll buy you,
I'm
Bear.
with you. Like, most cards it's fine, but like, come on.
Werebear's just hilarious. Just like it's too good. Yeah, look at him. Look at he's just getting after it. He's a bear druid.
I'm a newer player. I joined in like Theros or something, so I'm not.
This art just cracks me up. I just look at it and I just laugh. You know, and the whoever wrote the flavor text just a dumbass. Like you're just like, thanks, dude. Thanks,
Whoever
Bullock.
brought the flavor
I
text
do
is
like
a
some of the
hero.
flavor text.
Like,
All right, well, no.
I think that like the story is that during Odyssey block, actually, like the guy they had like a hole basically for the guy in charge of flavor text and stuff. So they just asked Mark Rosewater, "Hey, can you just do it for this block while we figure out who we're gonna hire for it?" It was like, "Sure." And so he wrote like basically all the flavor text for this set, and, like a bunch of card names, and that's why a lot of them are goofy as shit. Like there's a card called Need for Speed.
I actually appreciate this. Like, so I obviously have a kind of a more trolling sense of humor. I like to joke with. I like to make fun of people. I like people to try to make fun of me, and I just enjoy it.
I do appreciate like the old style of humor that Magic had, but at the same time, it's like very much of its time. I don't think it could be done in the same way today.
Well, like the flavor text now is just like it's a little like over dramatized in my opinion. It's just it lacks like this goofiness, right? What are we doing here?
How does this Mystic Confluence work if they try to draw a card but also bounce the level?
What's the order of it in?
Okay, it appears the draw the card is last, so they should be able to draw the card. Yeah,
they'll draw the card. They'll counter the spell, bounce this idiot, draw the card.
That's a very good line. You can see why Mystic Confluence is quite a powerful.
Very expensive though. But
Werebear's
mana.
I no longer run it in blue-black.
Yeah, Werebear's mana is doing it here. Like,
yep.
I often find that with Mystic Confluence, like it's tricky to find the right time to do it.
That dog is brutal though against the Werebear.
Yeah, it sucks.
Has not seen that +3/+3 for quite some time.
Pretty rough. We'll see though. I mean, like they have a draw step here.
Mystic Sanctuary could have gotten back the old Mystic Confluence, but I don't think Bojuka is like super playable anymore. But
no, it's bad. It's really not a good card. But like you're playing a lands deck, like you can get away with it. I wouldn't play it personally, but like you can get away with it. And like it's gonna be real good when it's real good, or it's gonna be real bad. Like that's the thing I have issue with Bojuka Bog is like you don't want your lands coming to play tapped. Like playing the Triomes, acceptable because you can fetch them and they're tri lands, right? But I think I would be willing to. I'm definitely going to counter this with my snare, but I think I'd be willing to trade the Werebear with the Leovold and the mutagenic growth.
This Tidiana wallet doesn't have much to.
Plus 10 power on the board though.
Does it?
Ooh, that's a disrupt. That's a disrupt in 2020. Holy shit! That's a fucking card, guys. Excuse my language. I'm just shocked to see that card. That's a hell of a fucking card, guys. I'm happy to see it, but like I don't think it's going to do them any favors. They're going to have to disrupt their own negate on something.
Featuring Urza and Teferi on the art, be like.
Actually, what they could do is, there's
smokes. This art is straight up out of JoJo. Like, look at that Teferi.
Well, this is before JoJo, though, homie. This is way.
I know.
This used to be like
JoJo's based on the old comic
maybe
book. Very, very like
so
characters. Style.
What do you do here? Like, I might legitimately just pump my idiot before combat, disrupt my own spell, pay for my own spell, draw the card, and see if I can hit a counter spell to not get roto-rooted by this freaking Titania. Like I might, because you're just so dead if you don't stop this thing.
Yeah, you would do it now, presume. I don't think they.
Oh yeah, I would just pump my idiot and counter my idiot. Because like you have to counter a sorcery or an instant with disrupt. That's just what it does. Like it doesn't target critters.
At this point, they might just be looking to trade off.
So
if they can do it off this music,
they can't trade off. There's a Arakasi in play. They'll just bounce it. So you're just looking to cycle your card here.
I just wanted to have.
It would have worked. Oh, I'm sorry, Fred Mage. It would have worked. Like I do think they legitimately should have like pumped their idiot Werebear. Their idiot child Werebear disrupted their own card, paid for it, just pump it so it blocks the stupid Leovold, and they could have countered this Titania and not had 50 or 20 extra or 10 extra power on the board.
That is quite a deep line. I'm not surprised they didn't see it.
You just have nothing else going on. You have nothing else going on. Like you're just dying. Like so, it's just worth it to me. It's like disrupt is so bad. Like you just want to cycle it.
What I wanted to just say is that somebody in chat was trying to call to summon the deck lists. We do not have a deck command, and I'm sorry about that. But part of it is that the deck lists belong to the players, and we don't have if the Messier, which was asking for the deck list, wants the deck lists, I can help him get in contact with the players and then just mediate, ask the players for the deck list, and if they're willing to share. So just.
I think it's probably a good idea. At some point, if you could separate the booth and your organization of the tournament, and have the deck lists available, like the two people on commentary could just talk about like the various deck lists after in between.
Yeah, that's definitely something that like I'm probably it's in the works. Is the answer? Sadly, like the problem is that this whole coronavirus thing puts us a little bit on hiatus because there were some things that needed to be fixed with the other person's job, and they are not gonna get they're not gonna like progress now that the world is ending. So it's,
the other piece to it is like I like actually, unless we're going to make it known that deck lists are public, I think for this style event, where you have players joining kind of like, all hours, like it's going to make it very difficult, one, to publish deck lists if they're joining up to 5 minutes before. And secondly, like it's not supposed to be a known deck list kind of format, right? Like we're not supposed to have our players in this know each other's deck lists. They might just be based on what people play. And I'm not saying we have good folks.
Well,
what's that?
Like, presumably they would be like, I don't know about anyone else, but I assume it was not taboo to watch the stream while it's not your man.
No, that's fine. That's fine, but like you don't know their deck list, right? Like you'll know some of the cards in their deck. That's like scouting in a tournament. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like scouting's perfectly legal, but like stealing their deck the night before, or like stealing a list that they have like in their backpack is like shady, right? So it's like like I'm not saying people would do that, but like why give them the option, right? Like I think after the event, it'd be really cool if we released the deck list. And I mean, honestly. The easy answer is, this one's over. It's been over for a while. I do think the right line was to just go deep on that disrupt. And it would have panned at least to buy you a couple turns, but this werebear would have eaten abrupt decay, and I don't know how they were getting out of the Leovold.
But yeah, like, okay, so there was a chance for the tempo deck in that round, but typically I would have assumed the tempo deck would be advantaged in this sort of matchup.
Well, they got roto-rooted by fast loam in game one. And being fair, in the second game, like again, like we go and look back at their initial keep. Their initial keep had no threats, right?
No threats. That's what it came down to.
Like I will say it time and again. That's why Red Deck Wins so great, because it's really like a very good control deck at the same time as being like the best aggro deck, right? Because like all of its like half of its clock can kill things on the board, and it can also just be a clock. Now. All right, this is Julie's deck. I was like, if this is zkillz deck, I'm gonna be shocked because I did not see these cards in their deck before.
No, it's not.
These are legit. These are legit Jeskai cards.
Speaking of Red Deck Wins.
Yup. I mean,
that's what we're seeing here. But I don't think we're seeing it win. Oh, maybe actually.
No, Red Deck Wins got this. I think. I mean, if they draw any reach
on 3 life,
any reach wins the game.
It's very possible. And very possible.
They can also. They're gonna activate this block, get to loot once. Then the next turn, they're going to be able to activate the Mutavault, attach a Skull Clamp to it, force blocks on their opponent's side after a draw step. So they're going to see up to 5 cards. So they're going to win. Like, Red Deck Wins is winning here, I think. Unless... Okay. Yeah, because I mean, even if they have a counter spell, they have to fetch to go to 2, which puts them dead to the Sulfuric Vortex. So I don't know how they get out of it. I think they're just dead.
That's a aced creature as well, Yep.
Yeah, I don't think. I think they had so many draws, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's Red Deck. When you're on 3 against Red, that's your scariest. Scariest
especially with on board like Sulfuric Vortex. I mean, like cards like Helix could get them out of this, but not here. I mean, if they had Helix, they would have just attacked the other thing and then forced them to activate the Mutavault block and then gotten through with a Helix killing the blocker.
Even a nice bounce spell doesn't work here because you'd have to crack the Vista for it.
Yeah, if you have Bolt, it's pretty specifically like Bolt. Bolt could.
Yeah, Bolt Path.
Bolt Path.
And well, keeping alive for a turn is huge when you've got a 7/6 on the battlefield.
All right. Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and set up hands with these players real quick. Cool. It's gonna take a second.
I do think in general, Jeskai midrange should do pretty well in this matchup.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
I think
Jeskai
Jeskai is like a slight favorite. Yeah.
They have a very efficient removal, possible life gain lines like with Helix, things like that.
But again, it's not like I don't think it's a massive advantage. I think it's like
no.
5, Jeskai's advantage. Like
it's like a 50. They're like 55-45 or 60-40, something like that.
Yeah, we see like a Thalia in their bin here. Like that's a first striker. Like they have things. They have things.
Yep, they sure do. Lightning Angel. They have Lightning Angel. And I love it. I still play that card. I know I shouldn't, but I love that card.
It's hard to refuse that art, honestly.
Yeah, I love the art a lot. I like the old border. It's actually pretty good against like red deck wins and death and taxes, especially if you're playing Jit. I played Jit in mine, so.
Is a newer player moment. I can't stand the old gold border art. I can't stand it.
Oh really? I really like them. Yeah, I really like them.
I assume like if you played back in the day, like seeing that gold border would be like, oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, my first legend card I opened that was gold border was the Solkanar the Swamp King that I still have sitting around. I just love the old borders, I guess. Yeah. Plus that art's just great. Richard Kane Ferguson art is just good.
Yo, the art itself is fantastic. I do love that art, genuinely. That's really great.
I think was it Ben Wheeler I was playing. I played someone where like they were like joking around about like Gwendolyn de Courcy, which I don't know if Red Mage can pull that card up if they want to, but like
is that the Bant one?
It's not Bant. No, it's Grixis card. It's 3/4 or 3/5. 3/5. You can tap it, and your opponent discards a card at random. And it costs Grixis +2 or 1. But yeah, I think it's 1, but I ended up throwing it in my like Grixis like mid-range deck over like a cast or something. It's definitely not right to play, but I was like, it's a joke. Oh, she's just Grixis. She's just like a Grixis. She's 3 mana or 4 mana, but
I should play that in my discard memes deck.
This card's. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter what your 4 drops. Yeah, it's big. It doesn't really matter what your 4 drops are in that deck. I mean, it does a little bit, but like you could do better. But like it's close enough. Like the real work that deck does is below that. Like it's just you can replace those style of cards and like you can still win with a stupid card like this or like Solkanar if you really wanted to.
The real work that deck does is Bolas.
I don't even think Bolus is better than this, but I don't even think I think the real work is like 1 through 3, like 1 through 3 are the cards that do all the work, and then like you just kill them some way,
You resolve a Chains of Mephistopheles against a blue deck, and they just cry.
You're saying your discard deck? I don't know on that. I'm just talking Grixis generally. I don't know. I don't know.
No, you don't play that in regular Grixis. No.
Yeah, well, no, I've played Gwendolyn de Courcy in regular Grixis. It was just hilarious. It's just I mean, it worked. I mean, it still killed them. I mean, because they just didn't have any cards. I was like, all right, well.
All right, here we see the start of the match. All right, red deck wins up 1 game, and we get to see game 2 here. So it's probably pretty even, I'd say. Pretty even. Like one of the few decks that has like a very even matchup, I think, against red deck wins.
Yeah, I think the biggest determination is going to be this round. I mean, like I think in general, like when you're on the play with Jeskai, you should win. It's going to be game 3 is going to be I think. Like I oftentimes feel like your advantage goes to almost 60-40 if you win the die roll in game 1, because if you lose game 2, you got the die roll in game 3, which I think strongly advantages you in the matchup. So I think it should in general come out of game 3, but I also don't know if Gozmit has put more lands in their deck. Their deck before was like running like 27 or 28 lands, which
that's lean.
It's very lean. It was back when you had like Black Lotus and a bunch of like fast mana sources in there because Storm was so fast. I don't think many of them run Black Lotus anymore. You could, but a lot of them have cut Lotus for pop. And you don't really want Lotus against Jeskai. It's kind of a liability, honestly. You're just down cards.
Yeah, that's the thing. Stuff. There's a lot of trading for cards against Jeskai. They run the 1-for-1 mana removals, like the stuff that's very efficient, very good.
Yeah, and then stuff like they could even run Arc Trail, Fire Ice, Fork Bolt.
The question I would have though is whether or not the Jeskai deck is tuned to beat red deck. That is a very very distinct possibility.
I think the mid-range versions typically just like you can't really do it wrong if you're trying to be like you'll generally just tend to be creature decks. I think where you'd see like Jeskai tend to struggle a bit is if you go into like zkillz build, and I think that build will struggle with red deck wins. Like it's not that it's a bad deck, but it's like it doesn't, in my opinion, do enough early enough to not take the damage from the creatures for the first 3 turns. And like the burn just becomes relevant, when you're trying to cast your Wrath of God or whatever.
Yeah, when you have a deck like this, it's about those flex slots, whether or not you what you're doing in those flex slots, and what kind of deck you're trying to beat. And if there is a deck to beat, I would say at the moment it is red deck.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like you. There's a couple. I mean, like Red Deck Wins is definitely not a bad one to focus on.
I mean, based just off like recent tournament history, I believe.
Oh, for this event, yeah, hell yeah, yeah. No one plays combo here. no, you're 100% right. I'm just saying widely. I'm like, yeah, in this event, yeah, 100%. Like Red Deck Wins is probably the best deck that's habitually brought to the table. Yeah, hands down. Yeah. Death and Taxes sometimes makes a showing, but I'm trying to think who's won with Death and Taxes. I'm not the only.
I know Croc has played Death and Taxes, but I beat him with it.
I thought someone played it and won an event. I know I've won, I think, 1 or 2 with it, but
I'm not certain.
Yeah, I don't know if I won 2. I know I've won 1, but I think someone else did as well. But you don't tend to see it as often.
So what are we seeing here, Red Mage? What's happening with the match?
I'm trying to get hands. Juliee is having a couple of technical difficulties, but if they don't get solved in the next minute or so, I'm just gonna have them start. I don't want to like completely eat her clock.
Yeah, I mean, at worst we can call it and restart it. Like
yeah, we can, but
I mean, I can commentate without hand cam.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm just. Again, like, and we're definitely gonna have Gozmit's hand. I try to get things set up so that we would have a hand, but like, I'm gonna see if Juliee gets his fixed, and if she doesn't, because this is also gonna be good to like have it known so that she knows how to do it for like the future, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
so
both these
Cannons
players
in the chat says Einstein won with the season end with I think Death and Taxes they were talking about.
That is correct.
Yeah, I think that's
okay,
right.
So yeah, there you go.
That was a good deck choice for that tournament, in my opinion, too. The only deck they really had to fade was Balite's deck, the Abzan deck.
Yeah. Abzan quite good against.
That's kind of the game that I ran with like Sui Black is like the only deck that or not Sui Black, like medium Sui is the only deck I had to fade was their deck.
Yeah.
Red Deck Wins was gonna be a struggle, but I tuned the hell out of that thing to beat Red Deck Wins. You know, I had a bunch of big dumbass like in there. Yeah, like what's Red Deck Wins gonna? I beat Gozmit with that deck. Like and I dropped, but I mean like what's it gonna do against Kalidas or like Phyrexian Obliterator? Nothing.
True.
Yeah. Die. Like you're like, all right, I'm just dead. You know.
All right, so we're skipping Julie's hand for the time being.
Okay.
We have Gozmit.
Looks fine for Red Deck Wins. They got some redraws. I don't like Flame Rift in this matchup, but I do like their 2 threats. Their 2 threats are pretty decent. No 1 toughness threats, so they're not going to get 2 for 1, not a lot of stuff. They have access to being able to turn on light up the stage. My guess would be you probably look to do that on turn 3 after developing the Kari Zev, depending on their draw.
I mean, this is a land heavy with no acceleration kind of hand for red, which is fine when you've got the 1 drop. It's a
fine hand in this match specifically because like you don't like the Black Lotus draws are really like I'm not saying like the black like just the fast draws are really risky against Jeskai because like if they have any of the 2 for 1 removal or any of like the life gain removal, like
you get electrolyzed.
Yeah, you get ranch, right? So it's like you'd rather kind of like just develop, attack, get your incremental advantage out of it, force them to remove it, you know, at the cost of tempo, and then redevelop.
Speaking of tempo, we see the days come out here against the Goblin.
They're gonna daze?
Yep.
All right.
They do not want that. We can't see their hand, so like it could very well be
like that though. I just don't like dazing like that.
It is not the best, like for sure.
My guess is they have a bolt or a slash.
If your hand is kind of slow, you do not want that Goblin Guide hitting you for
That's fair.
Several turns before you develop.
That's fair. But my guess would be they don't have a bolt because if they had a bolt, they just bolt that thing after.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So like, yeah, I don't know.
See, we see the second land play and pass here, which is what I'd expect. Like, I did not think they'd have a fast hand with that line.
No, neither would I. Like, the best I would have expected is like a snare, a spell snare would have been good there. And that would have made sense for dazing there. So they're gonna ice this thing. So they're saying they don't have counter magic, or if they do, it's pitch.
Rift comes out, that deals a lot of damage, and there's 2 threats already on the board for Jeskai to deal with. Red deck is going fast, but there is a very real chance for Juliee to catch up.
Yeah.
Depending on what's in hand.
Curious to see, like, Thing in the Ice would be interesting here. They're just doing
Yeah,
nothing.
still no threat. Still no threat. I'm expecting like an idiot bird kind of card at this point.
It could be. And it'll
Coming
work
in
out
there.
here because they don't have instant speed removal. So
Yeah.
Electrolyze would make sense too. To electrolyze the 2/1 plus the other 2/1.
Yeah, true.
If they're running that, that card doesn't see as much play anymore. I don't tend to run it in Jeskai.
Yeah, it is
sometimes-
very slow. Like it is 3
Yeah.
mana. That's pretty huge.
Well, it doesn't do a lot to impact the board either. In this matchup, it
Alright.
does, but in a lot of matchups, it doesn't. So it's like I sometimes run it in Blue Moon, but like not that often anymore.
Okay, so we're seeing the counter spell come out on the light up the stage, which is unfortunate because that card is like it's great for red. Don't get me wrong, but Julie's just so far behind here that countering that feels really
Yeah.
bad.
I haven't seen their deck list. I mean, they could also just be on like Supreme Verdict style cards.
I mean,
too.
yeah, this could be a rat, and then the whole game changes. But we're not seeing that. We're seeing the pass again. Maybe, possibly, like with a cryptic kind of line here.
Cryptic Command. I mean, they could have Settle the Wreckage. That could be a card you could play.
Oh yeah, true.
I mean, I don't blame
Settle
Gozmit
would be
going for it here. Just go for it. Because I mean, even if it fails, even if it catastrophically fails, and they kill all your stuff, they're still going to be at what 4, which is pretty low.
Yep.
They have no pressure on board. That's one of the things with Jeskai too. Is like you generally want to take a turn. Your best draws against red deck wins are not going to be just kill all their shit. It's going to be like kill, counter.
Gozmit hitting them with the aggressive sorry in chat for this chain lightning draw.
Well, they didn't. Did they draw? I think they drew a mountain. They've had that.
Did they? Oh well.
Maybe they're apologizing because they.
Maybe for the skull fracture. Who knows?
Ah.
Oh, we're seeing the copy on the chain lightning. I haven't seen that very often.
It's honestly that's one of the. It's kind of a sequencing error I think on Gozmit's part because they're going to be able to knock out either the Jackal Pup for Similitude or the Abbot here. Even if they cast another spell, it'll be a 4/3. And it would probably make sense just to kill the Abbot here because it's the most damage, yeah.
Yep. So that's probably what the sorry was about. I don't know why you would apologize for making a mistake.
Well, I mean, I'd probably do the same thing. I don't like making misplays. Like, I like giving people a good game, you know?
Well,
but
I mean...
extra damage is going to mean it's lethal, right? This goes down to 4, plus the attack is lethal?
Yeah, I mean,
so you need, like, a Lightning Helix?
Yeah,
can't cast Lightning Helix. They have a busy island on top.
Doesn't work.
True.
Doesn't work. Manamorphose Lightning
Oh,
Helix.
Petty Theft. Petty Theft does stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's the Skullcracken Ant for next turn, which is most likely to close out the game.
We'll worry about next turn.
Yeah, I just worry for mid-range is not really like you really want to have like a turn 3 threat, a turn 2 or
what
turn
you
3
really
threat.
want here though is a War Leader's Helix.
Yeah, I mean that
Get some of that in
thing. I mean, I think they just settle for a Lightning Helix here to dome for 3 and then like not die.
Yeah,
You just
if you
slam,
got Lightning Helix and a follow-up play, that's
then
huge.
Elspeth Sun's Nemesis and go like, play these game 5 life, go.
You'd still be dead, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you would. You dead, yeah. Yeah, that's I think that's gonna be it. I mean, they can't take this too, so if they have Cryptic Command, like Gozmit will wait on the Skullcrack until post combat. I would assume.
Almost
so if it's Cryptic Command,
nope.
it has to be like Cryptic Command into. All right, it's just dead.
Hang on, we're seeing something on the block.
Just dead? No.
Magmatic Sinkhole. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And that's 5 damage to the face as well, notably.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough to find a spot to get this Brazen Bar.
Needs his counterspell. Oh, and there's a misdirection, exiling the Force of Will to hit Gozmit in the face.
All right.
We're seeing real magic here. Real magic.
Now they need to draw a Helix. If they draw the Helix right now, like they can win this game. Like
absolutely.
I'll give them that. That's the card they need. If they don't have a way to gain life and also deal with this threat simultaneously, they're probably just dead.
Like, do not discount the amount of damage that was just done by the trickery of the Jeskai deck here.
Yeah, no,
that
they're
was
pretty
a lot
low.
of damage off the
Sinkhole. 3 down to 5.
And notably, the Brazen Borrower has high flying. It cannot actually. We have a card here, right? Put it up. But like, it can only block flyers.
It can't block anyway because this Karizef has menace and it's a
but like even if it could, can only block creatures with flying.
So what do you want to see here if you're in their spot? I mean, I just want to see Lightning Helix.
Yeah, Lightning Helix, 100%.
Or like War Leader's Helix would be cool if they're playing it, but they shuffle.
I don't know about this no attack. They might have some sort of removal spell, and they think they can block the 3/1, but that's not going to end well for them.
Yeah, 5's big. All right, they're letting the attack happen.
No, they just have
right,
nothing. Okay. Yep.
Okay. They probably shuffled. We couldn't see if they shuffled or not, so that would have told us a lot.
That's the match, but like that was some very, very, very tight magic we saw there.
Yeah. Game 1, I'm still not sold on the Days line. I think that's the one that comes back to me. It was either, in my opinion, like not a keepable hand in the matchup, or I just dazing against red deck wins is just I don't know. I don't think it tends to win you games against them if you don't have like something to also do on turn 2 with 1 mana that's very proactive, i.e. like Spell Snare or Bolt. But if you have Bolt there, you don't.
Honestly, it just didn't look like they had any threat to resolve or like put on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Is like maybe you look to mulligan those hands more, or look at the threat density of your deck. Maybe the threat density of your deck's just not high enough because like the mid range deck should have pretty good threat density. Like your typical hands are going to have like like cantrip, threat, 2 to 3 lands, board impact, or like board impact counterspell, like one or the other. Is generally what you want to tend to see, and like we didn't see a lot of pressure. All right, so we've got what appears to be Pattern Rector.
Lost match. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, they're under a strip lock. Yep, strip lock.
That'll do it.
Yep, sure will.
With the mind sensor on the board as well. Nice.
Yeah. I don't. What do they have? They have Ghost Rider. Play. Yeah, they're just dead. Just not a good spot. Strip Mine is kind of like one of the ways that I think these mid-range decks in general have tended to stay alive. Outside of Jeskai, I think is just a good mid-range deck without Strip Mine, but like it's basically recall mid-range decks or Strip Mine mid-range decks. You don't tend to see as many. There's a Seer Angel.
We're seeing some old school magic with the Seer Angel.
Yeah, medium white here.
This has to be big white, surely. Do you run Marble Diamond in medium white?
So I think it's a differentiation in nomenclature, to be honest. Like, I think folks would call this big white. Big white to me is like almost 0 creatures and like just massive planeswalkers and Wrath of Gods and like Akroma's Vengeances and shit.
Yeah, that is what I would expect from we may be seeing like sort of a in between those two decks here.
Yeah.
And there's an Ancestral Recall bringing Spotted Cheetah up to 9 cards in hand. There's no chance the white deck wins this. None. None. I'm calling it's over.
Probably not. Probably not.
This is what Esper Tempo I would expect.
Necropotence really must want ice cream. I do like the fact they're playing Seer Angel in their deck, though, with the old art. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's old school.
Card's honestly just fine, too. I mean, it's not a card that I would put in any decks, in modern decks.
You barely put Bane Slayer Angel in decks these days.
I put it in some decks. Like, I put it in mid-range. But I guess my point was going to be is, like, I played with, like, Sarah the Benevolent recently, and, like, Seer Angel, once it's on the board, is still pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is also a 4-mana planeswalker, akin to Mu Yanling and the sort of lines it has.
Well, no, the vigilance part of the 4/4 is actually really big on the angel you make, and it's also 5.
For sure. Like that means it attacks. It protects the Sarah.
Yeah. What do they say? Attacks and protects. Yeah.
Yes, it attack, it protect. It also only 4 mana, whereas Sarah Angel is 5.
It's 5 for just a 4/4.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There she is. Get in there, you. No counterspell. They never had it. No removal either.
This was the original control feed.
Here we go. This is what I mean about Force Spike. It'll get you still.
Well, Red Mage, being fair, the original control finisher was Brain Geyser and Mind Twist.
Wow. Card quality has improved somewhat since those days.
Sometimes a control deck would just run out a Sarah Angel on turn 2 via Black Lotus and be like, yep, there you go, beat it.
Yeah, it's rare you do that. You say that, Arakasi,
I think
but like your mana
was
so
referred
good.
to as the Wiseman Gambit.
Yeah, you're just like, got it. What can you do about it?
Do you have it? You
Like,
have the
one
plow?
of the things, yeah, because you use your if you use a sideboard, you sideboard into creatures in that deck. Because I still actually play that deck, randomly enough in 93, 94. And like you'll sometimes sideboard into them if you think your opponent's going to take out all their swords and plowshares. But
Yeah. So like almost certainly handful of counter spells from Spotted Cheetah.
This
can't get anything past it. It's over.
kind of in the bag, I think.
You got the T3 on the board, the Jace.
Yep, looking pretty rugged here.
And this is 1-1, so this is game 3.
This is also a Mystic. Oh no, it's not a Mystic Confluence or Mystic Sanctuary. Getting back Ancestral. I guess they're not running it. They could have gotten
I mean, there's a Jace Divine Sculptor on the play. Like, this game, what is the emblem?
I can never have enough cards.
Oh, they're the Monarch too?
Yeah.
Is there such thing as too many cards? That is the question. The answer is yes.
You know, I've looked for it, but I never could find out.
Yeah, with the Monarchy, I mean, honestly, getting back a counter spell is probably more relevant than getting back an Ancestral. You just have more counter spells.
If you're having the problem you're drawing too many cards in this format, you just run the fair Oracle. You know.
That's a Ravage of the War.
Oof. Yeah, that is a Ravage using the War in the graveyard.
What? This has to be their second game.
It's their third.
No, this is the third game. This
their
is
third?
Yeah.
They're 1-1.
That 1-1. We asked.
Okay.
It's turn 10 to be exact.
So Necropotence has stolen a game with this deck, then you're saying, which is pretty.
Necropotence is currently not. What did she do last round? What did
My
she
best
do?
guess is that they snuck in a Planeswalker pretty early against the control sort of matchup.
Oh, sure.
And they just sort of stole it.
Soul Ring or Mana Crypt. Yeah. Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, Ancient Tomb, something like that.
Necro also won a game in last match, although she did end up losing the match 2-1. But so yeah,
No,
this deck is capable of winning games.
No, if they pulled the Red Deck wins match round 1.
Man, Cheetah with the absolute Cheetah. Somebody posted in chat. Cheetah's clock is also pretty low. To which he replied by taking the time to go to Twitch chat and write, "I'm fine," and then with the
absolutely fine.
The absolute mad lad.
Yeah. All right, well, there we go.
So
We
yeah,
still have Einstein and Bailite going because, of course, Bailite's still going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can catch an Emrakul cast.
Bailite on the sort of Abzan control-y kind of deck, as usual.
I think my favorite line of play is still Bailite Emrakuling Luca and pondering with Luca's hand, using a ponder, and finding a toxic deluge.
We can see why this game has gone so long, just from the graveyards. Like we're seeing sort of a Sultai kind of control-y build versus the Abzan kind of control.
Yep, that's an Oko.
Yeah, but Bailite is also super dead. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. And this was game 2, by the way. They're currently 1-1.
Actually, that's not lethal, is it?
No, it is. They're dead.
Take 3.
Bailite was also on 50 seconds on the
clock. They should have activated the attack land. The land should have gotten activated, but I don't think it was lethal on board, right? They go to 1.
No, not lethal on...
It was lethal on board if they activated the man land, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, they're on 50 seconds on the clock. Like, there was
Oh, yeah, I noticed the timing.
23 life on the opponent with 3 cards.
You're dead. Yeah, you're dead. Don't get me wrong, but you're just not dead on board. I mean, you activate the critter land and you're dead on board.
But... whoa, we're hearing currently 1-0. What? No.
Yeah. No. They're going. They were 1-0 before, so now they're 1-1. So this is gonna be game 3. And so I'm thinking of asking them for hands as soon as the game is up because.
So they're starting a new game, are they?
Yeah, they're starting a new game, yeah.
Holy
unless
moly,
unless
did not
Balite's
expect
unless Balite's got a turbo plan.
Yeah, 50 seconds on the clock. Let's race.
All right, I changed my points up. I got Black Lotus and Mox in my deck.
And a bunch of red cards, by the way.
Just looking to high roll you here. Alrighty.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna get hands here, so we'll wait a little bit to get hand. May as well.
Yeah,
This
this game is gonna go for a while, and these players both know
Grindiest
what's up.
matchup.
So
Okay,
I think like these are both pretty like players that are like know how the whole hands thing work pretty
These
well.
are what we
So
would call high tier players with high tier decks, both grinding very very hard.
All right, I'm gonna go on a quick pause, guys. I'll be back momentarily. All right.
take your time
Alright.
for the longest round 2 ever.
So we're seeing sort of a Sultai list, presumably with Ancestral. I didn't see the Ancestral there, but I saw a Spell Seeker, which is often indicative of the Ancestral, against Abzan, which does not have that kind of line. So I would expect if Sultai is going to win, it'll come down to grinding it out and having the card advantage at the end of the day. But Abzan, like, obviously, we're currently 1-1, has the chance, either by more aggressive lines or even, like, you would be surprised how much card advantage Abzan by itself can generate.
Yeah,
So this
these
should be an exciting
specific. Oh yeah, we have hands. Sweet. This specific build is probably worse off because it goes a little bigger, but not quite big enough to like win against the control deck. So that's the issue there. But
Well, I mean, an Emrakul can do wonders.
yeah, that goes big enough. That definitely
Yeah.
goes big enough. But
And we're seeing Elvish
even
here,
control
like,
deck can finish the game before that happens usually.
If Bailite can get an early Planeswalker down off this Elvish Mystic, like that could be something. We're seeing an attacking Elvish Mystic is not what you like to.
No.
You like to see that casting something big.
When my opponent attacks with Elvish Mystic on turn 2 as a control player, I always like do a sigh of like there's always a sigh of relief on my part.
All right. Are we seeing an Inquisition taking an Inquisition here? That is my question. Or maybe the Goyf. Probably the Goyf.
Courser,
Depending on
actually, I can
Bailite's
see.
hand.
I think
Oh,
Courser.
also-
Bailite
Yeah,
goes for the long game. He'll take
that
Courser.
is a lot of value. Yeah, true.
Not coming down anytime soon.
Are we seeing Bailite on a deep mulligan?
Bailite's-
With only 3 cards in hand? That might be like very bad.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
given that they have those cards, I mean, it's probably
They
not
do
Courser
take the
anymore.
Corsair.
Okay.
Yeah. I would expect the Inquisition perhaps based off what
Yeah.
you said.
I would
the
take
3
Inquisition.
cards
I'm
in
just
hand.
thinking from Bailite's perspective. Bailite, like, is always looking to go long. Like, they are never looking to kill anything fast or kill anyone fast. Like, just never.
Yeah, so the Corsair line is certainly justifiable in that case.
Yeah.
And drawing the duress is very nice here. Gets the Inquisition out, or possibly the push. You never know.
They'll probably push this thing in response.
Oh yeah, that is true. No, that's not the worst with the Nantuko Monastery in hand.
Yeah.
Or is it? Actually, I don't know how that comes. That doesn't actually.
That card is it does have threshold, so once there's 7 cards you can activate it. It activates for white and green, and it's a 4/4 vigilance, possibly with trample, but I believe it's just vigilance.
Yeah,
It's-
we're not seeing that threshold come about for quite some time. So
Yeah.
and
it's-
also the wasteland in hand, like chances
You
are
see,
good that it doesn't.
Again, Bailite took the
Yeah.
impulse. They're still looking to go long. Like they want the Goyf is fine because they have 2 kill spells. I
So-
do think I just fatal push this because they're not doing anything, and I'm thinking in my head like they're on kind of they're on a draw.
Bailite is looking to go long, but this is what I was talking about while you were gone. Is I think the blue deck sort of has the possible chance of like getting the more card advantage if they get the ancestral going.
Here
Um,
they're fine. Like they're in a good
they're
spot.
fine at the moment. Absolutely, Bailite's in a fine position
Like-
based on Einstein's hand.
I honestly don't mind just wastelanding them here. I kind of like wastelanding them. I don't. Yeah, I mean, if they draw a black source, I kind of don't want to just lose this thing to the.
Oh, that's a black source. That's a very black source.
Yeah, I'm
That
a
might
little.
be the blackest
of all
Yeah,
sources.
so like this is why you wasteland as opposed to just playing the Goyf out. Like you're. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I can very much see wanting to get the tempo down against like the low hard card.
You know their last card though. Like you know it at that point.
Oh, you
like,
know it's a Murderous Rider.
Yeah, the Inquisition. So like you know the card in their hand. So like why
Yeah.
give them the out to draw a card that would otherwise be irrelevant, right? Just my take on it. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. With that information in mind, knowing that they had that info.
yeah, if I didn't know it, I'd totally play it. I don't. Yeah, like that's 100% right. Like if I didn't know what they had in their hand, I'd totally play the Goy because I just want to start killing them. But
yeah, they are sort of rewarded here in the sense that they get to pass this Mystic Confluence at some point. Because they haven't sacked this wasteland. Returning the Murderous Rider, not the best in terms of value.
You'll just draw out their EOT if they don't cast something relevant to counter. You also bounce their Natuko Husk. I believe Mystic Confluence just bounces creatures, not non-land creatures.
Oh, this Mystic Sanctuary cannot enter untapped because they did not crack the Polluted Delta. That might have been a mistake there. But Deathrite Shaman, not the worst. Will end up turning off Threshold for this Nantuko Monastery, as well as doing a bunch of damage to Bailite. Although this Murderous Rider with the lifelink, it can keep up with the Deathrite Shaman.
Deathrite's really just going to keep the graveyard limited. What it's going to do, keep you alive, eat up their graveyard, stop the threshold from happening, make Emrakul cost cheaper, take equity off of Eternal Witness, off Scavenging Ooze. There's going to be a lot of cards like this.
Which is meant to fill the graveyard, will no longer be performing that function quite as well.
Yeah, it's going to find 2 creatures, though, is I think what they're going to name. We'll see if it does or not.
Yeah, that would be huge. If it got 2 creatures, that's the way to get value.
Mana. Like, knocking out Balite's green mana, I think, could be relevant here. Now, you don't want to do it quite yet. I think, honestly, I could see having done it, and then using the DRS for mana.
Yeah, right? But at the same time, like, I mean, you're a lot less scared of this Nantuko Monastery, obviously, with the Deathrite in play.
It's more about what else they can draw, right? Like, because if they're out of green mana, all their green cards are just dog shit at that point. Like, I mean, and it could work out that they hit this card, but they can't cast it again because they don't have green mana. I do think that there is a pretty strong option to look at wastelanding.
Yeah.
Next main phase here based on your draw. But you're not wrong, like not having up the Mystic Confluence this last turn and not having another impulse to draw into is a little rough.
Custody Lich, that's a good one, as they say.
That was finally fixed on Magic Online.
And it actually works, yeah. So that's something I've never seen before, a working Custody Lich.
Yep, that's actually... So what's interesting here is if they draw a green source, they can attack plus cast.
Choosing to put the Murderous Rider on the bottom.
You have to. It's a must with that ability.
Oh, it's a must. Okay.
I do think that attacking here is really aggressive because if their opponent draws a removal spell here, then they can still fire up the Nantuko Monastery after having removed the Custody Lich.
Yeah,
and
but
stealing the monarchy.
You would expect that to happen anyway, like a little bit with the kind of mana they're on.
Yeah, but you could possibly safeguard it by blocking with the DRS if you want to block with the DRS.
True.
I don't know that you would, but I think it's a viable option. Now, I do think at this point...
Monarch is, like, super important, obviously.
What's that now? Yeah, the Monarchy is really important.
Preserving the Monarch, yeah.
If they're going to trade a resource that can trade with Wasteland, so, like, now your Wasteland's just, it's just a Wasteland again. But I guess it's going to take it down to 4 mana resources. You definitely trade here. Has first strike?
It doesn't trade.
It has first strike, so it's not a trade.
Yeah, so
you will just jump.
It is quite a strong one.
You block it, though.
And they're choosing to...
and still you jump, but...
You probably block. Them getting an extra card on the end step here could be...
Yeah.
I disagree.
All right. I guess
to be fair, it is worth mentioning that if Custody Leech attacks, then they become the Monarch again, and they will be forced to attack the Knight of Autumn, but also that they can block the Custody Leech with the Knight of Autumn.
Yeah. Well, and bouncing it doesn't really do anything. It just puts it back in hand.
Notably, though, if you attack with 2 creatures and Custody Leech dies on the same attack, that you become the Monarch on, like, for example, here, if the Knight trades for the Custody Leech, Bailite would still have to sacrifice a creature. They don't have a creature, but...
I like this attack with both.
Yeah, agreed. 100%.
There was theoretically a line where you use Brazen Borrow or Bounce, one of them. Like it doesn't super matter.
Well, Brazen Borrower only bounces their Knight of Autumn, right?
Yeah,
Can't bounce
which
your
means
cards.
they get to gain the life back. Which
Yeah.
I mean, it's not super relevant, but
Or make a
we're gonna
4/3
see
and actually trade with the Lich.
we're gonna see a Monastery Eater Wasteland here, I assume.
Yeah.
Yep, there it goes.
I guess it safeguards their Caracas for future plays that Einstein may make. I think Einstein's in a pretty commanding position here, though.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
agreed.
With the Mystic Confluence about to draw 3 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the deep mulligan is probably coming back to bite Bailite a bit.
This is what I was talking about earlier with the blue potential to just draw.
Yeah, both decks are not running a shortage of Monarchy cards, so whoever lands the Monarchy and has, permission to deal with the top of the other player's deck is probably just going to submit their position, right? I always thought that blue decks generally, like blue mid-range and blue control decks, will, in general, tend to be pretty favored versus Abzan.
Yeah.
Just because of that factor. Now, if Abzan gets down early pressure, then, it's a different story, but...
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is the blue deck seems to have that sort of potential as well. What with their 3/1 flyer package, that sort of thing.
Yep. I think there was even an argument there to just play out the 3/1 flyer and start clocking the hell out of them. Rip Bailite. Yeah, Bailite, we're watching, man. It's not looking good. Yeah. But, we can see their hand, and their hand's not really great. This Brainstorm will do a lot to make it better.
Yeah, Mystical Teachings we're going to see probably get
now the game is the game's over. Yeah.
It's cemented. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're on recall, and I'm pretty sure Teachings finds recall. Now, the unfortunate thing is...
Here's a question for you. Emrakul top deck.
That'd be pretty savage. There's a disallow in hand, so you can just stop the trigger and then...
True.
Or you could...
We're not seeing that, though.
Yeah, it doesn't... Even if you did, I mean, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
There's an answer to it in hand, and there's Mystical Teachings to find Plow or Path, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess they could Caracas it back. That'd be like Caracas Emrakul. Jesus. It's so ham.
I mean, is Emrakul even castable?
I presume it is. It's 7 mana.
There's a lot of cards in the graveyard.
All right, let's go. Land, sorcery.
Land, creatures, sorcery, instant, artifact.
Yeah. That's got to be castable, surely.
That's 5, so they have 7.
No, it's 1 mana short.
1 short. No, 1 short, yeah.
Okay.
But they have a land in hand, so...
Yeah.
I mean, it's all academic. Bailite may be on 19 life, but they're pretty dead.
Yeah.
Too many cards.
Pretty close to being over, but...
No, at this point, that's another stifle effect. Now, at this point, you do want to start putting pressure. Just start putting pressure down. Because,
yeah,
you just want to close it down.
From Einstein, yeah, absolutely. For Bailite, I think you might just hold cards, though.
You're not two spelling with a Titania. I think you just run it out.
Yeah, I suppose.
You're not two spelling with it.
And it is legendary, which means the removal is not going to be great against the Caracas, so they have to counter it.
How about instead of removal, we have Torrential Gearhulk?
Yeah, the old Hulk could get it.
To fire off Mystic Confluence.
It feels wrong to say Hulk Smash when it's Torrential Gearhulk, but that's what it'll be doing.
Yep, just 5 power. I mean, it's also a counter spell, but...
A counter spell that draws cards at that.
Yeah. We're drawing 1, though. That 3rd land was relevant to play out. Play around Mana Leak, too.
Well, as relevant can be against the 7 versus 0.
It's stifling 1 draw, which is,
It's something.
Yeah, if I'm in that spot, I'm trying to get every little increment I can get because I'm not going to get many,
Yeah. I mean,
I don't expect to win from this spot, but I have won crazier games in this. And I'm not saying this is winnable based on their hand because I can see their hand, but I've won games where I just thought I was utterly dead, but their hand had a bunch of hands. And I was like, sweet, I won somehow.
Unfortunately, that is not what.
It's just factor fiction.
Wall-to-wall counter spells, card draw.
I like playing this out before the Nimble Obstructionist, Save the Obstructionist. It's just poof. Played at main phase, not discard. Makes sense. Mire Triton. Just gonna counter it. Okay. Just get countered.
Nothing getting past this. Nothing.
Yeah.
The Eternal Witness, you can just get back counter spell and laugh.
It's actually they dead. So they do 2 here,
they're
2 here.
dead.
It's 4/4. Yeah, they're just dead. This is 13. I'm not mistaken. That's 8 plus 4. Actually, it's 12. It's exactly 12. I guess they're not going to activate their death right. They're going to kill him with the nibble obs. That's fine too.
All right.
Yeah, well.
Alrighty. Well, that was an interesting game.
Indeed.
Definitely saw it avalanche a bit there, but that's what Monarchy and it's what these decks are both looking to do, right?
I wouldn't put that entirely on the Monarchy. I think they drew roughly even off the Monarchy to begin with, but like at that point, like I think it's Balite's mulligan to Oblivion, possibly.
Sure, I think that's a big part of it. It's also in my opinion, like the Abzan deck needs to be the aggressor in that matchup, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's probably the cause of the initial
It's not
mulligans,
set up to do that, right? It's set up to be control deck, and and I'm not taking away. Bailite's had spectacular results that deck, but like against blue control, I think it's dog.
Yeah, it's not a good matchup for sure. No. Like once you get in that long game, that's when the blue begins to shine with the extra card draw. The flash threats, that sort of thing, which is where Bailite typically wants to be, like in the late game.
Just permission too. Permission's pretty big. Like you can hand attack all day long, but like if they draw it, like you got to be able to stop it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Of course, like it's all about matchups. Like I would probably take Bailite's deck against red any day, as opposed to this Sulfide deck.
I don't know. Like even there, like they've tended to struggle with that build versus red deck wins historically, right?
I know that Gozmit has boasts a very high win percentage against.
Yeah, I just
more or less than the Sulfide deck though.
Yeah, and I don't know for per se. I have to really look through their list. Like you're not wrong. Like Sultai can also struggle with red deck wins, but like a lot of modern cards are great tools against like red deck wins. Like Uro, we were talking about that card. Like
no,
obviously don't want to be throwing it out there to have it go in the graveyard. But like you have like stuff like Uro, you've got Kitchen Finks if you're running it. You can run quite a few cards to like Collective Brutality is a card you get access to, which is really good against red deck wins.
The difference we're seeing is like sort of the white versus blue. And
I will say this.
I would say the white gives you a little more of an edge on average against the.
We're running a little behind on schedule, so I'm just gonna interrupt you right there. I wanted to make a couple of service announcements, mid-tournament service announcements before the next round. Just a couple of repeats. If you want to join this event, your best bet, join the Discord, ! Discord, gets you a link to the, or apparently it doesn't. Bot, please. MTG bot, where are you? Oh, there you go. Well, MTG bot doesn't like me apparently, but yeah. ! Discord gets you to the Canadian Highlander Discord. It's a great place. People are awesome, and also they can help you get set up if you are just looking at this format and be like, hey, I don't know what this Canadian Highlander is about, but it looks sweet. I want to join. Also, ! Next poll will get you to the sign-up form for next week in case you wanted to sign up for next week. As usual, it's better if you're also on the Discord because that's where we run the tournament on, but if you just want the link is ready. There you go. You can just go and sign up for next week immediately. Also, worth mentioning, we have not exclamation point. But, look, this tournament is run with the help of people who sub to the channel. And if you wanted to take the time to sub to the channel, especially if it's, not your actual money, but like Bezos money, that would be appreciated. We get a little bit more funds to run that can go into the prize pool that we're gonna have at the end of the season. We're gonna have a little bit more disposable stuff to bring you some more different some different tournament things. It helps the tournaments run more smoothly. It helps the tournament do things. So if you have a spare Prime sub or you want to support us, consider throwing us a sub. And with that said, I don't want to take any more time before we fire round 3. I will be posting it present here momentarily. Words.
Yeah, so I'm going to probably be leaving commentary because that is
accurate. You do not have the second binary.
Yes.
All right. Take it easy, Arakasi. Good BS with you, man.
And let me tell Julie that if she wants to join commentary, she is welcome. So yeah, Julie, if you want to join commentary, you're welcome to for this round. Oh, Einstein says that he won that last match. Did I make a mistake? Oh yeah, Einstein won. Oops.
Hold up on pairings, folks. Don't start fighting yet.
I'll jump into people's voice chats and let them.
Yeah, please.
Thanks. Yeah, so one of the interesting things, like, to kind of go back to if we have time to bullshit right now, or do we not?
You have time for a little bit of bullshit.
All right, great. We're kind of talking control a little bit before the beginning of the last series of matches. And I think it's kind of interesting in Canadian Highlander, like, you know, you do have a couple of routes you can kind of go if like you are a more habitual control player. I mean, you can do some of the more board-based control decks like you saw Bailite was playing, or like, you know, white-red, you know, Wildfire. When you're talking specifically like blue control, like I think a lot of cards that like previously were sort of staples has kind of been falling off. When you look at like cards like Factor Fiction, which we saw in the last matchup, which is very powerful card. In my opinion, it doesn't tend to cut it anymore in the archetype. And I don't know, Red Mage, what you think on that. I've tended to find that I need to be more impactful on the board in my control decks. You know, either whether it be through flexible threats that, you know, in some way, shape, or form act as disruption, or via, you know, literal board impacting cards removal.
Before we hit the line, what do you want to watch? zkillz versus WolfgangCloud or Einstein versus ChiggyWig?
What's WolfgangCloud on? On red aggro?
I'm on red, but I think we saw him earlier. But I'll
we
confirm
did
for you.
not. We saw Gozmit earlier. I don't think we saw Wolfgang.
WolfgangCloud is on Monred.
Sure, let's check that out. And the reason I say let's check that one out, because I think it will be fast one way or the other, and we can jump into the other game afterwards.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think it'll be fast one way or the other. I mean, like, I played WolfgangCloud a bit. I don't recall how fast they're willing to concede. Because if they're not willing to concede very fast, then the Jeskai deck could definitely stretch it out, but I think they'll probably concede if they know they're losing. Because red deck wins is a deck that, if it wins, it's probably going to win in their mid-game against that deck. I was thinking about possibly showcase some of the issues playing like a more, how do you put it, like old school board style tap out control deck like that Jeskai build too. That'll be one of the issues with it. It'd be interesting to see. I could just be totally wrong too. I mean, they could have it under locks. Deck is definitely powerful. So yeah, Red Mage, what about you? Do you still play Factor Fiction in your Blue Moon list?
It's about to go back in.
Yeah.
I tried carrying it. So I had so I'm on small points, right? And
fair.
Recently we had this thing where I cut FOF for so Strip Mine went up. So I tried to cut Strip Mine, and I went and the hard that I put in was Gifts Ungiven, and I cut FOF for it. But I think I haven't like gifts too much. I think I will probably go back to having Stripman in the deck, and I will be probably putting FOF back in. Maybe, we'll see. I have a couple of cards from the new set. They also want to try like Neutralize and Fire Prophecy, so we'll see.
Yeah, I've been running both those cards. They've both been fine. I've really liked Fire Prophecy, but
yeah, no, Fire Prophecy is sweet. Neutralize, the question is more like, is this better than Supreme Will? Because it kind of does the same thing. It's better at countering, but it's worse than it's worse
I
than
don't run Supreme. I don't run Supreme Will. I've never been a huge fan of the card. It's all right. All right, so they're down to what, 5 cards in hand for the red deck wins player. All right, so they're not going to get to draw off of this. Or not draw. They're not going to get to exile off of this this robber. They have plenty of mana on hand, though. What's their hand look like?
We have hands up, so...
I don't care for that gremlin. I know Benjamin Wheeler was talking that card up. I do not like that gremlin. The tapper, 2 damage. I'm not a fan of it. I just like clocks in this deck. But they've got tons of mana. Taking a lot of damage off that. Something gremlin. It's a 1/1. You tap it, pay 1, tap it. It does 1 damage to player or planeswalker, I think. It may just be player. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell,
Found it.
You can untap. Yeah, that one. So realistically, Wolfgang just needs to draw burn here. That's basically it. Yeah, blister, spit, gremlin. Yeah, cannons.
Say that 5 times. Say that.
I won't,
5 times.
I won't be able to. I'll F it up. I'm not a fan of this card either. It's just too much mana, in my opinion. Now Wolfgang's got a ton of critters. Like realistically, what they want to do now is like just start hitting burn. What I could see doing here is resolving the Blister Spit Gremlin and hasting in the Zergo, attacking with all, trading off one of the 2/2s in combat, getting in 4, putting them down to 4. They're at a virtual 2 on the following turn off of the Vishinu Pyromancer, and the Blister Spit can put them to 1 so they can't tap the Ancient Tomb anymore. I think it's how I end up playing it, but we'll see what they end up doing. I don't know what you think on that, Red Mage, but that's kind of the line I think I would end up going. Did we end up getting Juliee?
No, I mean, Juliee doesn't have the buy anymore because we had to repair. Blahguy is the person with the buy that declined to join commentary. So
fair enough.
You get to hear me like very distracted for like the first little bit, and now I'm actually finished setting things up, so I can actually pay attention to the game.
So this does knock out the Planeswalker. I assume they get the Blister Spit down. Nope, they get the Soul Scar Mage down. Down to 3 cards in hand, still at card parity with hand zone, so the Robber's not going to get a card off of this. If they attack with all here, they don't want to attack with all. I guess that's fine. Doesn't really matter.
They would really have gotten in for 5, but thrown away a 2 power creature.
They would have gotten in for 2. What they could have done, though, like I was thinking another line that I kind of like.
How would they have gotten in for? Oh, wait. What do you mean they would have gotten in for 2?
Well,
2 of the creatures have summoning sick. Yeah, no, okay, sorry.
Yeah. What they could have done is gotten in for 4 by casting out the Zergo and then also casting out the Bitter Spit Goblin, Blister Spit Goblin, Gremlin. Goddamn. Afterwards, they could have gotten to 4. It does. They could have gotten them down to 4, which turns off options for using the Ancient Tomb, which I kind of like because right now the Ancient Tomb is kind of coming at a pretty significant cost, right?
Yeah.
Those life points are not irrelevant. Fetch down to 7.
zkillz mana is not working. Okay, no, now they have. Okay, sorry. I missed that they had Snowhover Islands. Or did they draw that this turn, actually?
Yeah, but the question is, do you want to tap for 2 damage on this Tamiyo down to 5? I mean, it does essentially the same amount of damage that this creature.
They didn't have to. Huh? 1, 2.
You know, they use their City of Traders, so now they're out of City of Traders, right?
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and they can draw next turn with Tamiyo too, which is one of the things. I mean, I'm assuming these creatures are still going to turn sideways, so they tap that one.
Well, they might deflect Tamiyo.
So now it's any bolt. Any bolt just kills their OP here, right? Actually, it's any shock because they can Zergo.
Yeah. Because of the Zergo.
Mm-hmm. So land is not quite what they were looking to find, but they can get the Blister Spit down if they want to try to fade a Wrath.
I haven't loved Tamiyo the Moonsage in this control part, so I guess that zkillz is on a more... Wait, is zkillz the guy that is just playing midrange, or is zkillz the Planeswalker?
No, we're playing Planeswalker. It's all super friends.
Okay,
they're running this because
right.
Planeswalker.
zkillz is the... Right.
We're running every Planeswalker known to humankind.
Okay, never mind. Then yeah, you do play Tamiyo.
Yeah, I just run all of them.
Because there is another person that is on just Jeskai, like regular midrange,
so,
right?
Their OP is going to have the ability, like zkillz is going to be able to draw basically 5 cards. They have 5 card for draw step plus. So they don't play that card out because they don't want to exile the top card. Oh, they have 2 cards in hand. I don't know what the other card is.
The problem with zkillz is that they don't have...
Ral isn't Viceroy. I mean, they could Wrath. They could Wrath a God the board. All right. Well, go down to not very much life. But you play this... I think you save the Blister Spit, but I could be wrong here. I think you just save it. Yeah, I like saving it. You still have the Zergo, which is a lethal threat. If they Wrath the board, you still have Zergo. And, like, you have a lot of draws, right? That's a Signet. Not what you want to see, because it doesn't go up mana this turn. Unless you draw into an Academy, which even then is not really the best. They're going to draw some cards here. 3 specifically. There's a Wrath, but they have to fetch and die to cast the Wrath. They're just dead. So they could blind flip the top to hit a white mana source and possibly stay alive. They're still dead to the backswing on the Zergo that they know about, though. So yeah, this is kind of like, I'm sorry, I'm just like going through all the different possibilities they could do here for plays. They don't have one. They're just dead unless... All right, so if they're running Terminus in their deck, they could preordain, set Terminus on top, and then flip the top into Terminus at instant speed on their opponent's attack step. That's an option, right?
Yeah.
But it's not that, though. That's not what they found, though.
I can check if they have Terminus, but, well, that's the preordain.
I'm trying to, like, stretch to see, like, how you could possibly get out of this, because I think it's fun to, like, think of how you get out of this, because you're just really dead. And kind of what's happening here is kind of what we were talking about when we were watching zkillz kind of, like, pick apart the rock deck. It's just their tools are really set up to have great mid to late game control.
Yeah, I mean,
but if you just punch them a lot, like, they're going to fall over, because they're not set up to have a guard in the beginning.
Oh, there's Terminus.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's one of the outs, I think, is Terminus there. Is trying to set that up. It's kind of cool to see they have it.
So the problem,
you flip it with the top.
The problem with that line, even with the Terminus line, is that currently they cannot, because they tap the island, they cannot produce mana without damaging themselves.
Yes, they can. All they have to do is, yes, they can. They have a Cascade Bluffs that can make white off the Boros Signet, homie.
Oh, Cascade Bluffs does tap for colorless. I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's on egg land. So yeah, it works. It worked. It was. It's kind of cool to see that it could have happened. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I think it would have been sick if they Terminus them. I mean, they're probably gonna draw burn anyways, but like, just Terminus them attack step, be like, get
well,
God.
Let's see if this humility gets the job done this time.
That mana sucks though in that hand.
That is not great mana. There is also an Ensnaring Bridge though.
Yeah, you keep that one. I mean, this is a Ensnaring Bridge hand. I don't really care for Wolfgang's hand. I would like 2 mana sources.
I think it's pretty marginal.
They may keep it. If they're on the draw, so I mean, they may keep it. They want to hit a land pretty bad, though, with that hand.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of want to start double spelling. Skills does get to start developing, like, Tomb into Signet, and they went on a mold to 5.
The problem is zkillz hand just doesn't do anything, right? And it's going to damage itself quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
So that is a downside. All of the lands tap for damage. So there's that.
And the Ensnaring Bridge doesn't do anything unless he starts casting spells.
Well, yeah, it doesn't do anything against burn. So, and this Harsh Mentor is also pretty good. If they draw a land here, I think they're in a pretty good spot. They draw a land, so that is a good thing for zkillz there.
Yeah.
You definitely want to see them miss lands. Lava Dart with Prowess creatures, really good. Obviously, we're not probably in the domain where we're trying to pitch lands yet.
zkillz peaches the humility into the crown.
Yeah, you just get rid of your hand.
Yeah.
Get rid of your hand here.
It also saves you 1 damage.
Yep. Saves you
Oh, no,
2
wait.
right?
Where did that Supreme Verdict come from?
I don't know. That was definitely definitely... Okay, I don't know. I don't...
What?
I don't know what's going on
What
here.
just happened?
I don't know. That's weird. Well, I think here I look to probably get down the Mentor, more than likely. Just to slow down any fetch lands they may have. If they want to pop this card to draw land, they're going to have to take damage off of it. So we'll see what they end up doing. And also, you can save up burn to a point where, like, if they have 1 card in hand, you can do it at instant speed after you've already attacked with the Soulscar Mage and hopefully kill them. So there is that. I mean, I guess you could
as
also
long as
just Lava
Zeal
Dart
stays
the face.
empty-handed, the Soul's got a mage.
Well, it depends on what you draw.
What
too,
is
right? You
happening?
draw-
Oh.
What is happening? I don't know.
Oh. I see. We're missing one card. What?
Okay.
That's what the Supreme Verdict was.
That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense.
Now I understand.
So like, if they draw a card they can't cast, like that card right there, that's a card that's not very castable. So like now they can attack with this. I mean, they're going to be able to attack with all their stuff because it's all going to be 1/1s.
Yeah.
But their OP is going to take significant damage off of it too. There's a chance they just opt not to take the damage. I doubt that's going to be what they do, but they could do that.
Yeah, I mean, and they're only one land off of Cassia and Sandra, right? It's not that far away.
No, but you're down to 11 at that point.
Yeah. The life part
You're
isn't great,
going to
especially
11
because
down
the
to
Chandra will
9.
cost you 3 more life to cast.
You're
right?
at a virtual 9, and your OP, which you don't know, has 6 damage in hand. So that's a metric. Actually, you have more than that. They have 6, 8. You're at a virtual 1 off of that sequence of plays. So all they need to do is actually you're less. No, you're not less than that. You're at a virtual 1. So they have Gal Blast, Dart, Fork Bolt. That's 6 damage, right? Plus 2 more damage off of Bone Crusher from a virtual 9 is down to 1. That's a Burst Lightning. You throw it at face right now, and they're dead, right? Like, that's just that. So even if they cast a Chandra, they're just dead to the board.
It is definitely a situation that I would describe as not great for us.
Yeah, it's just a really bad matchup. It's a real bad matchup, in my opinion.
They did draw a land.
Yep. And actually, I forgot, you're taking a damage off of your Sunbaked Canyon as well.
You're taking 3 to Hasta Chandra.
Yeah, we're just dead in the hand. I miscounted. I did not count the 1 damage off the Sunbaked Canyon.
Can they have all of those spells in one turn? Yes, right? 1, 1, 1.
So they
yeah,
cast
that's
first.
it.
Yeah, they can sweep.
Wait, no. I only count 6. Well, okay, yeah. They have 8 damage in hand, but they can't cast all of it next turn.
No, I think I would not have cast out the 1/1. I think I would have just burned their face. Me personally, I wouldn't have played out the 1/1, the vampire there. I would have just burned. But
fair enough.
They still do have lethal hand.
Opted not to draft the board with Chandra.
And you're not correct on that. They don't have lethal hand. They have lethal in hand. That's
no. They did have lethal in hand. They just can't deploy all of it in one turn. But now they can attack with their creatures. Because there's no cards in hand. Right.
They could have anyways. They had Fork Bolt, they had Lava Dart, they have Gal Blast. That's 5. Flashback, Lava Dart, 1 more, 6, dead. So
but
they had
zkillz was at 8.
No, they were at 6, right? Because they tapped 2 of them.
I might just not understand how math works. That is entirely possible.
No big deal.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. zkillz is dead.
Yeah, they're just really dead. I do think that looking at that game though, one of the interesting things, because it was a beating, right? But one of the interesting things is playing the vampire out there as opposed to leaving up 2 more damage on burn, because your opponent's not guaranteed to tap that Ancient Tomb. So I think I kind of like leaving up the burn, but that's just me. It's a nuanced play. I think I would have. It's the mana requirement on it. Oh, that's an old comment. So yeah, interesting game. I mean, it kind of showcased what we were talking about in the first game, where there are some liabilities to playing a Super Friends style deck. You get turboed down by red. Okay, so we've got some bug versus some bug. This is some bug on bug hate.
Bug on bug action.
Well, there's strip mine in the bin. With a Ramanap excavator, which tends to be not good for the player.
Not good for the player that doesn't have a Ramanap excavator in the strip mine.
That said, there's a very good planeswalker in play that makes threats and a basically unkillable threat on the board. Right.
Which that also tends not to be good for the player that doesn't have a basically unkillable threat on the board.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this goes. I mean, if they have a toxic dot, usually they can just kill the stupid, the stupid merfolk. And right now, it's kind of held hostage by the fact that their OP has a Scavenge use, which can get massive at many points in the game. I can't imagine their game plan is to ultimate the Muyan Ling, though, with a strip mine active off Ramanap Excavator. Unless this here is just removal.
I don't think I've ever ultimated the Muyan Ling. Just make some burbs.
I'm trying to think if I have. I don't know that I've ever ultimated that.
Burbs are good. Just make burbs.
You just win the game. Yeah, just win games of Magic. Just
just do plays that win games of Magic.
Yeah, just kill people. You don't need to draw cards.
Just straight up murder.
That's kind of one of my
Here
arguments
at the 10th point, we stand for just a straight up murder.
Well, I mean, you look back at the last game and we saw a zkillz deck just run rampant over a bug deck, or I'm sorry, a black-green deck, and then proactive gameplay is very good in this format. It may just be in Magic in general, right? It may just be in general that it's probably one of the better ways to play the game. That's an Uro. That's a cool card. I wonder what it does for them, though. I mean, they do definitely have a lot of cards on their OP here. So, I don't know. I think ChiggyWig may be in a decent spot.
No.
I do think they're going to
fast spawn. Oh, no, wait. There is no Ramon up anymore. I missed that part.
That's gone. Well, they had a 5-card hand. Now they have a 4-card hand. I'm sorry. I'll never stop making fun of fast spawn. Well, they had a lot of cards. Now they have a lot of lands.
There you go.
All right, so we're going to get back this Uro, which is cool and good. Was Einstein playing Force Spike? Because, gosh, that'd be savage, eh?
I don't know. Let's figure that out.
I don't remember if they are or not. Someone was playing Force. I know Arakasi was playing Force Spike.
We have seen Force Spikes around. What did you say? The person is Einstein. Right.
Einstein, yeah. They could be playing it.
Looking for.
I don't think they are, but they could be.
I did just play against someone playing Force Spike.
Yeah, no, I think Arakasi's playing it today. I saw it on a stack at some point. I've seen it disrupt today, so I'm ready for any kind of crazy counter spells people are throwing out.
After you see disrupt, anything could happen.
Yeah, I'm sorry, disrupt, not dispel, disrupt. Yeah, I'm ready for a dismiss, or a complicate. Just throw a complicate out there.
Man, I love complicate. It's complicate is my favorite bad counter spell.
I like that card a lot too. It's a great card. I like dismiss a lot. Magic. I love exclude. Exclude's a great card.
I have in Mental Magic. I've done Cycling Complicate is one of my signature Mental Magic plays.
I feel like so many cool cards, especially in things like Q, just get over. So many cool cards get overlooked because people are just let's play with the best cards.
No Force Spike.
Oh, you're talking about Cube?
Not Force Spike.
Cube is.
I'm taking Cube as an example here because people often just make Legacy Cube. Let's just take the best cards, instead of actually looking at what it's a big collection of really cool solid cards.
I think it's tough to put the depth of counter spells you would need to get to Force Spike level in a powerful cube, right? Because it's just. I'm trying to think. You probably play Pierce. You probably play Snare is even kind of a stretch in Cube, but Pierce is not. Maybe you play Snare. Cubes are just interesting from that standpoint, though. It's tough, right? Because I think in general, you want the median quality of your decks to be more proactive than reactive in that style of format. Because especially if you're trying to get people to play it, no one really wants to sit down and have the best deck be a deck that just stops everyone else's stuff,
That's fun once in a while.
I enjoy it, but I think the median answer is the more everyone kind of gets to feel like they're doing what they're doing, the better off you are. Now, there's a limit to that too, right? Because I think Channel is utterly one of the worst cards in Cube. I think Time Vault was terrible in Cube. It just didn't excite anyone to play more cubes. You're just nope, I have no desire to play this anymore. I'm good. It's stupid. Or at least I thought it was. When you get Channel off on turn 1, you're just great. Well played. What are you gonna do?
Alex in the chat is saying he's playing both Force Spike and Disrupt.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. I Disrupt is probably a little deep, homie. Force Spike I can get behind. That card's great. Disrupt, yeah. I love it, but I think it's too deep.
I know that Balex was also in a Teamer Tempo deck, and he was also playing it against me. So
yeah, I think Force Spike's fine. I think you can play it in the right deck. I think Disrupts. I think its time is coming on. I think that ship sailed. But I don't know. I could be wrong. So we got a Bounty Hunter in play. We got Cheville, the Bane of Monsters. That dude's sword, it's like a jawbone.
Yeah, that guy, you can tell he's not kidding around. Like, he's not.
Well, I'm gonna be honest here.
He
Do you
did
really
not
think
come
like,
here
you
to fuck
see,
spiders.
that guy is way too small to swing that thing, and like what's that sword gonna do? It's like a serrated like massive steak carver. Like you don't
Maybe it's
swing
not.
that.
Maybe it's not meant to be used as a sword. Maybe it's meant to be used as like a mace. You just clobber people with it.
Well, that's exactly what you'd had to do with it, but like they would just move. Be like, okay, I'm not gonna
Maybe
get hit
he's
by
got
this
magic to make himself like swing it more easily.
All right, I guess my suspension of disbelief is just I'm just looking at the card and like it's just failing to believe that this guy can swing this thing. He's too small. He does have badass. His mustache probably gives him the strength to swing that.
Yeah, the mustache is what does it. I'm with you.
Does he have a big ass necklace on, or is that chest hair? If that's chest hair, he can definitely swing it.
I think it's both.
Pretty sure it's a necklace.
I'm sure it is too. I just think it'd be hilarious if it was chest hair. It's like get the soul patch in the middle of his chest.
I'm gonna investigate this. Yes, sir.
Oh, no.
All right, you gotta investigate this one. Talking about fact or fiction? Nope. Does Chevelle have a fucking soul patch in the middle of his chest? That's important here, guys.
Oh, I'm afraid to say, I think this match is bugged out.
Well, you could probably safely concede to strip mine recursion and to a turn.
Yeah, that seems hard to top.
I mean, I wouldn't make
Even
someone
with,
play
like,
this
your
out. If
islands
the game
drawing
bugged,
a
I'd be like,
card.
yeah, you killed me. Like he probably killed me. Depends, I guess, their hand. I mean, they could have something, but I mean, like, if they had
most of it's hard to come back from, like, I'm not seeing anything here.
yeah, if the dealing click could get him out of this.
Yeah, I
I
suppose.
mean, obviously,
But
force of
even then,
negation could.
You still need to deal with, like,
The board,
like,
yeah.
I mean, most of the you can keep blocking consistently, but like you need to deal with.
Yeah, you're just dying. You're very
the,
slowly dying, and your opponent's building up resources every turn. It's just not good for you.
Sure, you can build up resources, but your opponent's, as long as your opponent's getting to attack with Oro and just load
Playing 2 lands a turn.
Why hello there, stream maps.
Oh,
It
Streamlabs.
is both.
That looks like chest hair to me.
Oh, no, wait, I
Oh,
think
is
it's
it?
just two.
There's no way. That's a necklace, dude. Oh, there's chest hair underneath the necklace.
Yeah. There's a necklace and there's chest
It's
hair
perfect.
underneath.
Look at that,
There you
guys. Hey, there you go. Oh, Arakasi. Look at that, man. He's boss.
This
You know,
is,
like,
Richard
you know-
Wheeler when he's tracking the X.
Yeah, well, so like I don't understand like does anyone's chest hair really grow like that? Like
No, I do not think any. I think
yeah, I
it only
mean,
happens
like,
in
you know, I
anime.
got like a nice even sheen. How do I get like a heart-shaped patch? You know, I have to shave
You
down.
shave the
Get
rest.
a
Yeah.
knife?
The man clearly grooms the chest hair in the same way that he grooms his mustache.
I mean, this is probably the most important thing to be talking about because this
I mean, I
matchup
can
is just
tell you,
100%.
My hair doesn't grow in some ways, but then you put in some stuff, you make some cuts, and then you get it there.
yeah. No, I'd have to be cutting a bunch, dude. I'm like 80% German. I just grow
That's the
hair
1-2
everywhere.
combo.
You know?
The hair cutting combo. Ooh.
Yeah. All right, so this
Okay,
matchup's
but
still exactly where it was at.
plans for the next round.
Yeah, Blahguy, you're not wrong. If you kill enough monsters, you grow a bunch of chest hair. I hear if you're a real badass, you start growing on your shoulders too. Hell yeah.
Wait,
We are
no,
like
I'm
all
not. I
knocking
do not. This is the wrong person.
Huh? Who's the wrong person?
I tried to contact the wrong person.
Ah, okay.
About-
Arakasi, I honestly think that Muyan Ling's ultimate is win more, in my opinion. In the right matchups, you can do it. It's fine. But I've honestly beaten it quite a few times where I've like had someone ultimate and I'm like, cool, like I'm glad you did that and didn't kill me with 4/4s.
Yeah,
Because you're still tapping the mana. You're tapping your lands and you're not having mana and you're not board impact. You're just drawing. It's just like cool. Like it doesn't matter.
Planeswalker, but I think often, unless you're like certain it's going to be like a slow matchup, which to be fair, this didn't look like a slow matchup.
Yeah.
Just making 4/4s every odd turn. Like,
I'm definitely not saying that like Einstein was wrong in like ultimating it. Like, you know, I think they probably were, but I don't know that for a fact. But yeah, I just think generally like if you can look at getting it to 8, like as opposed like having 8 power as opposed to being able to turn my island sideways for having 8 power evasive over 2 bodies, as opposed to being able to draw like 3 to 4 additional cards over the course of a game, but not have board impact. I'd rather have the 8 power flying, you know, especially because it comes down like, you know, 4 turns before that even happens, right? Or 3 turns before it happens.
I mean, it's basically a turn 4/4 flyer that gives your planeswalker on 1 loyalty. Like,
Yeah. Arakasi, you can, like, one of the things I found, like, I've actually had that folks try to ultimate Muyanling against me on, like, blue, white, or blue, red. And, like, there's a lot of, like, incidental stifle effects now. And, like, I've stifled that thing a bunch. And I'm like, cool. Like, you should have had 4/4s. You know?
Like what? There's the
Yes, you have Disallow, you have Nimble Obstructionist. And, like, I honestly... I don't think that running or stifle right now, like if you're playing very competitively, is like a bad idea because people are going to play Oracle.
People are playing Fetches and keep forgetting that card.
Well, Oracle's the big one. Like Oracle. Yeah, Oracle's the one that like I think you do it for because it's a serious deck. Yeah, I mean, you could also just get fetch lands with it, which is reasonable. Get wastelands with it, strip mines, whatever. Certain Walker ultimates. But really, the big selling point for me is like, all right, what's at the top? And like, when it hits Storm Trigger, and it also hits Oracle. Like, I tend to start liking the card a lot more. It's more mana. So
maybe Tail Send? Is Tail Send worth considering?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Tail Send, I believe it's counter a activated triggered ability or
you
counter
could. Is that like 2 mana card though? 2 mana card, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you could. I think I would probably, if I really, really wanted that effect, like I wanted another one of that effect, like I'd probably play Interdict before I'd play Tail's End. I don't know if you can pull that one up, Red Mage, but you draw a card off Interdict. It's 2 mana stifle essentially.
You also draw a card
off
Tail's End, I'm pretty sure. I might
do
be
you?
remembering correctly.
I'm curious now. I didn't think you did, but you could.
Let's see.
I'm pulling it up.
You
yeah, let's see.
You're right. You don't.
Yeah. Oh,
Never mind. I thought you drew a card.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say card Interdict is definitely draw.
Does not counter
MTG kill me here. I didn't put my apostrophe.
ability.
Sorry, Balex was asking me about some stuff.
No problem.
About some stuff for the Saturday tournament. Which I will talk about as soon as this round is over. But
now, one of the issues if you had like Interdict, you're not getting triggered abilities. You're just getting activated abilities.
And also doesn't hit Planeswalkers for what it's worth.
Nope, no, it does not.
It specifically says creatures, enchantments, artifacts, and lands.
Yeah, the problem with Bind is it's green. Someone's talking about Bind in chat. I'm like, yeah, that card's cool. I love it, but it's green.
Bind.
Yeah, it's another stifle-like effect. You also run Void Slime if you wanted to for blue green. I run Void Slime.
There's Streak Bind. It has split
Void Slime, true. This is our most hard to cast.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I think at the end of the day, you want efficiency and/or flexibility in Canadian Highlander, and like a card like Interdict is not that flexible. It does cycle to draw a card, but
Loading, goddammit.
What's going on?
Just
Seatime.deck, yeah, you could. You know.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you could. I shockingly I've run that in a Penny Dreadful deck of all things. A mono green Stompy deck with Seed Times was pretty good.
Take it was a medical.
Well, no, it was a Stompy deck, and there was a good blue deck at the time. I remember there was like some weird like there was like a Storm deck, which was just better than the Stompy deck I was playing. And there was like a bunch of blue decks that were mid-range. There's obviously a red deck, as there always is, but Stompy's pretty good against red. And I remember I used a Seed Time to actually win a really weird game where like I was playing against Alhambra's Carpet, which is kind of like a moat, essentially. If you're familiar with it, that'd be another card to probably pull up. And I used a Seed Time after they activated that thing to get an additional turn so that my attack step mattered because they couldn't activate their Alhambra's Carpet anymore. It's pretty great, actually. It was pretty hilarious. He's saying whack.
Alhambra's.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't enunciate. I can tell you the cards art. It's got Kea and Phil Foglio art. It's good art. It's got this, like,
an artifact. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a moat, kind of.
Pay 5, prevent all types of weapons to you, destroyed by attack creatures without flying. Jeez.
Yep.
Stompy
doesn't have a lot of players.
You have to pay for each turn.
Yeah, so like what I end up doing is they cast like a draw spell or something like that on my EOT after they'd activated this to moat me, and then like I took an extra turn with my stupid Seed Time. That was like one of the tactics. So they took the extra turn and just attacked him and killed him. All right, that's a lot of lands. It's definitely an Oko. That Oko's gonna get countered. If it's lethal, it's lethal. That's honestly, it's just like just magic. You know, just kill people in magic. You don't fart around. Try to get value. I mean, you should get value if you can get value. but that should be a secondary effort to winning games, in my opinion. All right, Spellseeker. This is going to be, assume,
Damn. Probably just
Ancestral, but like Ancestral's going to be kind of a
yeah,
beat.
Ancestral's not bad.
Well, it's not bad, but I guess you do have this idiot child
Especially with
murderous
that
rider.
caster- Oh, demonic tutor. He's not even a recall then.
Yeah, that was a big ass hammer. It's more like a big ass, like, I don't know what that thing is, man. MTG art just kind of cracks me up. Kind of cracks me up.
I'm not gonna go for the Oko. Probably correct to be honest. Your opponent just got double blue.
Huh. So they're not. They want to try to strip lock them?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I can see that.
Alright. I don't like it, to be honest. I like getting Oko down there. Because now you just. We'll see.
You probably just
Because now you can
play
spell
these-
pierce. Now you can spell pierce this
It's
thing.
just ooze spell pierced, right?
Yeah, probably. Yep, just ooze spell pierce.
Put on some pressure. Like, your opponent's just trying to waste unlock you. Who cares?
Yeah,
Who keeps
I
down?
don't. So this is the thing with like these lands decks too. Is like when you get the strip locks like real early, it's really good. But if you're getting kicked in the face every turn and you're trying to strip mine them, it's not going to work. It doesn't work.
Yeah, Wasteland isn't always exactly a lock. Like, we see.
Yeah,
Juliee,
Arakasi,
that
you're
one,
right. Get pressure
already.
down first, apply pressure, and then disrupt resources. I think that's how you should approach it. Here, I don't like the
spell
way.
pierce back though. I don't imagine that's going to make much of a difference. To be honest.
No, it won't, because they won't play their land before casting, more than likely. I mean, they could
Exactly.
Wasteland first.
Like,
Trying to get it
yeah,
back.
but the thing is, even if they won't cast, yeah, they're gonna cast Oko here, but they're not gonna have spell pierce man up, and they're just gonna fall right into the.
Well, if they cast
spell
Oko
pierce.
now, they're just gonna get pierced. It's gonna really
Exactly.
suck. Really gonna suck. And then they're gonna lose
Yeah.
their loam, which means that their recursion engine's offline.
Oh god, yeah, oh my
Yeah,
God,
because they didn't
yeah,
recurse the loam, so now the
right.
ooze is gonna eat the loam, and then they're
Yeah,
gonna have some
oh,
blue
the
mana up.
Serum mission is just gonna just. Oh god.
I mean, I might honestly like look to. This is crazy sounding, but I may DT for a Bayou there, just to get another land down.
Honestly,
um,
yeah, you might be right. Or even.
I think I would, because I think
even
you
the
want to have
basic
resources.
No,
and then
you need
also-
green silks.
It just makes it tougher for them to wasteland at value next turn, and it gives you
Yeah.
2 black-green sources. So if they wasteland, you still have a black-green source, and they're still kind of stuck.
Yeah, you use up all your mana perfectly then. I can see that. I think maybe if it had been if it'd been a different cantrip, like say Preordain, I might have been okay with
Yeah, saving the demonic tutor. Yeah, you could. I just
you're more likely to find land. You should probably tried to find land before you.
So now you're gonna get strip mined a bunch, but
Tabernacle. Ugh.
all right.
Fair enough. That's
So they don't have the
something.
strip mine, so they get to save 3 power on board. This again is why I like to find the land with the DT there. Just find a land, you're up to 4 lands. They can't, lock you as hard.
This is an locked scenario. Absolutely.
Alright, well, you just get in there for 3.
I'm curious if you got the land there, would you have kept 2 or 3 creatures around?
I'd keep all 3.
You don't want to
What are you
just like use
casting
the
with the
mana
extra land?
on ooze.
What are you casting with the extra land?
Well, you could do ooze with like
Ooze?
the mana and just get the same clock anyway.
Oh, if you have a black or green source,
Yeah,
yeah,
if you
I'd
had-
keep,
if you had the buy,
I'd
exactly.
let one of them die and then just pump the use up. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Because like
Yeah, but I would. Yeah, I was like, man, if it's just any generic land, I mean, I'll just pay for my critter and
Oh,
keep
you
it
did
attacking.
find a creature, and one that actually works quite well in this. That's actually quite
Cheval.
good here. He's still on a 5-turn clock though. Do you just let the ooze die here? Honestly, just not give him a chance to use him. Just save the mana in case you like draw. I don't know, cantrip. Because like there's nothing you can get in his grave anymore, really.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
probably pitch use off.
Like you have a 5+ turn. Oh, that's a treasure cruise. That's really
They
good.
found.
That's
Okay, I'm a
really
little
good.
behind. They definitely need to find some manas here. That's what they want to
Absolutely.
get. And again, that's it may
the
tie.
thing
I
is,
think honestly, it may tie back to that DT line actually costing them this game. Their opponents. That's a great picture right there. Just look at that guy. Just look at him.
Question is, what can he? Oh, he spell pierces it. Of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's got counter magic in hand. So it's going to get countered.
He's on the 14 block now, and
yeah.
I mean, sure, removal spell is going to really get Chiggy in a head position.
Thanks,
Oh
Ragdoll.
my
It makes it much more clear now what this card does.
Great help.
Yeah.
Green Sun's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I think they're going to wriggle their way back in because they'll play land. They can get Courser? No, I think I would just get Courser here. I get Courser.
Courser's not bad.
I will be honest, I have no clue what's going on in the game because
we're watching
asked me a couple of things and that completely threw me off, but I got the important part, I think.
It's actually quite an interesting game, to be quite honest.
It is. I think it's ChiggyWig's, I think, going to pull into the front here.
Yeah, it's looking like that Green Sun definitely did give him the favor.
Yeah, you play out your fetch land, you go down to 2, I think. I mean, you're shooting some risk there.
Yeah, you really just need to find an answer to the big old ice.
The biggest risk you run is like Black Source into Collective Brutality. And like you don't have a blue source or a blue card and you're tapped. That'd be like the scariest thing to have happen because that can kill you just out of nowhere. But pretty soon they're going to be on the 2/2 plan off of this card. This Field of the Dead.
Was there even any reason to play the land prior if you...
No.
Oh, schools.
To my opinion, no. But yeah, they can gain life
a better way to get the life back. Yeah,
but it's not an advantage, which is kind of the downside to it, right? Like, so you're not gaining.
Oh, you're right. This turn is definitely you don't go down alive, and you're right. You are setting up to that one. It ends up not mattering really.
All right, so this thing dies. They get a free card off of it, and the game's over. In my opinion, it's just over. Yeah, that one. Yeah, if you miss there,
Who's just gonna to be 1, 2, 3?
Arakasi, I kind of agree, but like I also disagree. Like I think if you go back and look at this game, like ChiggyWig's draws have been pretty decent, based on their opening keep. But
Chiggy
like,
even has 6 creatures to eat.
But now. I think that Einstein could have used the Demonic Tutor more effectively to build up their mana resources to get around this situation, right? And this is a situation that could happen, right? This is like a thing that variants could do to you. And I think when you're on that many cards in hand and you have that much to do with your mana, like trying to wait on Demonic Tutor as opposed to just developing your mana base to do the powerful things your card has access, your hand has access to, is just, I think it's wrong. I think that's how you lose games sometimes. Here, I think we're seeing it, you know. Chiggy did not lose by not running C-Time. If you run C-Time, in this matchup, I guess you'd probably be able to get something with it. But right now, it's not even really about C-Time. They can't even just cast spells. So it's like, yeah.
What is this? This is 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah,
11.
I mean, this is
exactly like to my count.
I didn't count. They have to pay for the.
Yeah, he needs to pay for 4 creatures, I believe, and that's gonna be Xaxis.
3, right?
Yeah, this is Xaxis actually.
Yeah, if there's enough creatures in bin, they'll just exile a bunch of creatures.
So there's a green one in hand.
7/7.
So he's got Xaxis. He can if he. No, he misses lethal actually by not getting a green source here with the full.
Okay.
That's actually because he can eat 4 creatures. That's exactly 11 damage.
Yep. Yeah, and it's pretty likely that they do have access to Overgrown too, and Breeding Pool.
This is Snapcaster Mage here, but still.
Yep. Snapcaster Mage really doesn't do all that much here, though. It just trades with 2/2 or a 4/4 block, but the 4/4 block doesn't really buy you more time.
That's all it does.
Yeah.
Actually, no. A Swarm? Can a Swarm into Toxic Deluge save him here? That's
no,
at most 7/7 ooze. You can just do it for 7. Like, sure, you're gonna be you're gonna die to the top, and then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think it's just a concession. Yep. All right. Well,
Seems like it.
kind of an anticlimactic game. That's unfortunate, but I mean, that's strip mine and wasteland effects can just win games. And I think it kind of goes to show, like, when you're making decisions in Canadian Highlander, that, like, if you have a hand that is going to be mana light but has powerful things to do as the game progresses, like spending resources like Demonic Tutor, which is a 4-point card to find a land, perfectly reasonable, perfectly viable, and in some cases a good play to make there.
So we have a bit of an issue, which is we have only one. We only have one match going, but they chose to not allow spectators, so we can't jump into it. So you'll have to waste some time until Juliee and... oh, no, never mind, they're done.
Truly horrible.
You wanted to waste any time.
I'm going to take a quick break, Red Mage. I'll be back in like a minute or two, all right?
All right, I'll take the time to input the results, and in the meantime, if any players want to like jump in the booth, real quick. Actually, Balex, are you around?
I believe he did leave the tournament. I think he might have left altogether.
No, I have been chatting with him on Discord about. But I want to. This would be a good occasion for him to plug the Saturday tournament.
Well, I definitely can't see him in here right now. But he might have heard you. He might be watching the tournament.
Well, I mean, so while I punch the last results in, I wanted to let people know. Well, are you not available on Sundays, but you are available on Saturdays for whatever reason? Does the streaming structure of this event intimidate you, or like for whatever reason you're not comfortable or can't for like network connection reasons, whatever, actually participate with it? Well, the 10th point is expanding. We are now running Saturday tournaments. The incredible Balex Belson is taking care of running some events on Saturday. They start, I believe, at 3 p.m. Balex should update an export command shortly. No, loading. Should upload the export command shortly to include the sign up for Saturday too, I'm hoping. Otherwise, I'll do it in a second as soon as I'm finished here. But Avios drops. But yeah, if you want to, that's drop Avios after this round. If you want to enter Saturday tournaments, we have those two now. So yeah, go for it. ChiggyWig wins 2-1. And now you're gonna probably hear me mutter for like a couple of minutes while I punch everything. Bailite 2-0 over Ragdoll. And then we have Necro 2-1 over Walkeroftheplain.
So loading. What's the 9th point? The UR point? Is everyone playing blue-red in the Saturday event?
Well, it's the point, the point from which all other points come from.
Oh, I understand now. It wasn't confusing at all. No. Oh, when you say it like that. I'm sorry. No, okay.
Oh,
how is the Saturday event? Who plays in the Saturday event? Is Balex in chat right now, or is that Balex?
He dropped from the event. He said he's gonna drop from the event. I don't know if he's still around. But yeah, I mean, Saturday event is like the Sunday event, just free to enter. The league structure is the same. They feed into the same finals we will have. The way that we're going to handle finals this season is that the top 4 from the Saturday rankings and the top 4 from the Sunday rankings will face in one final event.
No, I was more curious about is what's the metagame look like over there as opposed to here.
We would need Balex for that
So,
one because
like,
I will
almost
be honest, I don't
that
know too
way.
well. But maybe we have somebody that has entered some of those events that can.
That's what I'm thinking. I think someone's trying to
the
talk.
last one, as I was saying multiple times.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the people who are playing, and like 80-90% of the people are people who play in the Sunday tournaments as well. So
Ah,
there's
okay.
absolutely nothing against you playing in both. As I
Okay.
can confirm. Unless I'm fucked up.
So, what I'm wondering is, what happens if like the same people are in the top 4 of both brackets?
So the highest,
Whatever
the way that
time,
it works
placing
is
the
that the
highest.
highest results will count. So if you qualify, basically, if you qualify as first in the Sunday bracket and as third in the Saturday bracket, your third place in the Saturday bracket will not count and will drop down to the 5th person in the Saturday bracket. If they're both first, I think the highest point result will count.
I was gonna say.
If they're tied in points, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Hey, what's up?
Die roll, I guess.
Red Mage, I think it's...
Sorry?
I was trying to hear what someone else was trying to say.
Oh yeah, this is Balex.
Oh, hi, Balex.
I think we had someone post the archetypes in Twitch chat here, but yeah, last week's archetypes with their players are in the Twitch chat. I just came in to tell you the archetypes.
Oh, sweet. Is it pretty similar, or are you seeing something different over there? Out of curiosity.
Last week, yeah, it seems just pretty stock. We had mono red, 4-color pod, blue moon, mono red, the rock, kind of an affinity situation.
Mm-hmm.
Jeskai Superfriends, combo goblins, Abzan, pattern rector, and Sultai control.
We haven't been seeing a lot of pod in the tournament, have we? TRM.
We haven't.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Cool to hear about pod. I'm wondering when we'll see more like storm style decks or like time vault combo decks.
WolfgangCloud won 2-0, right, against zkillz?
I don't know. We'd have to ask them.
We watched.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. That was a raffle. Yeah, that was. I don't
When you
say
say like time vault, do you mean like just blue combos, or do you just mean A plus B kind of combos? Like
It's A plus B. I mean, like Oracle is the right way to probably do that right now, but time vault's also good. You know.
the real question is, how do you point Oracle?
I already put my comments up in the Discord. They haven't changed much, but me personally, like after building a bunch of Oracle decks, testing with it a bunch, playing a bunch of fishing a bunch with it, playing a bunch of matches with it, you just have to point the Oracle. Kind of sucks. I think you could also point Tainted Pact, but I don't really like pointing Tainted Pact because I think Tainted Pact is a card that gives folks a reason to play 4 to 5 color mid-range decks competitively. Not that folks aren't doing that here, and like I'm not trying to take anything away from their decks. There's people who've done very well with those style of decks, but like if you're playing them against Storm, like if you're playing them against Red Deck Wins, Storm, Death and Taxes, and like Oracle combo, like you're at disadvantage, right? And if you take that card and you point it up, I think it makes it pretty challenging to play those arcs, or it makes it more challenging to play those archetypes. It just means that card becomes pretty much only a staple in combo decks that can use the combo off. So I think Oracle itself needs to be more heavily pointed. I don't think we'll see it jump beyond 1 point initially, but me personally, I just look at the card as being a time vault, just a copy of time vault that's better in a lot of cases than time vault. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Not perhaps an argument for removing some points in time vault.
Yeah, I think that the issue is like even if like Oracle is at 1 point, like even if you put Oracle at 4 points, it'd still be a better way to play time vault, in my opinion. Like that's just I've played both decks. Time vault's a fine deck. You'll still win a lot of games.
I'm not saying don't change something with Oracle, but also maybe consider if time vault's too high with 7 points.
Well, yeah, is it though? Like it's like how prevalent do you want that archetype to be?
Good question.
I mean, me personally, like I do not think that. I think that combination is something that should be allowed in the format because I think everything should, to some extent, be allowed in the format. But I don't think it leads to more good games of Magic. Personally.
But you also get the question if you compare Oracle combo to time vault, then should Oracle be 7 points? Is that too much? Too little? Probably not too little, to be honest.
I don't. Yeah, I think it's better. So like, by just like raw like rationale, like just the logic of the cards themselves, like if you were to try to equate them, like I would prefer to kill folks with Oracle over Time Vault because I have to play less bad cards in my deck to win with Time or with Oracle than I do Time Vault. There are some cases where Time Vault is better because you have access to stuff like Academy runes, but that's very mana inefficient and it's a fringe case, right? The fact that I just have to run these 3 cards, 2 of which are just fine cards to run on their own, Demonic Consultation and Pain Impact, I'm not unhappy to run those cards, and I have to run this 1 brick Oracle. So I don't know. I don't know if it should be 7 points or not. Like, I think it's a pretty tough debate. I think if, it gets upticked, I think it'll start at 1 anyways, and we'll see it change from there, hopefully, so. It's a tough question, though, because I really don't know. Like, honestly, like, it's funny, right? Like, I'd be lying if I said that, like, a lot of the more modern designs in Magic haven't in some ways made Magic a little less appealing to me individually, mostly because they're just so goddamn good. And it's like they're so backbreaking that, like, if you can't answer it right now, you just lose the game, which it can be frustrating, right? Like, that's a kind of a frustrating way to play because, like, there's not as much interchange, not as much kind of like discourse in a game. They become more decided, for either side, which, in my opinion, the more card design ends up like that, the more proactive you want your decks to be if you want to win more games, which, again, tends to lead to more kind of like lopsided gaming experience, in my opinion, which, I was kind of joking about with, like, Oko, for instance. I was like, well, I'm never going to play a non-tendrils deck again because I just don't like playing Oko decks, or whatever. It's just kind of silly. So I think it's tough, right? Because, I mean, there's just so many of these cards. And, like, how do you balance Canadian Highlander when that's a thing, and can you? Or is that just, development of the game and what you have to get used to? So it's tough. And, like, a couple of things I was thinking is, like, honestly, like, I think in the future it may just be necessary to have sideboards. Like, folks are not going to love it, and it'll probably never happen. But, like, I think for a gameplay perspective, you would play better games of Magic if you had sideboards than without them.
I would love it.
So, yeah, a lot of folks, I think a lot of the community would not. Just from what I've seen, like, when people bring up sideboards, people get heated. They get really heated about it, and I'm just like, that's cool. Like, honestly, like, I enjoy Canadian Highlander enough that, like, I like playing it, like, enough that, like, I'll still play it any way we play it. But I'd be remiss if I were to say, like, that I don't think that over time, the way cards are made now, like, it's just the games are like 2 folks just smashing each other with big ass fucking hammers, and whoever gets hit first just loses, And to me, it's like it just loses a little bit of appeal because it's not as thoughtful, I guess, is how I'd put it. And maybe some of that is also just because I've played. The longer I play, like, the more I think I probably understand or tend to understand, whether through, like, my own merits or through osmosis of just raw immersion into the format, like, just understand how the games kind of play out. And, over time they just become more prosaic because of my lens and how I see things. But I do think there's some merit to the sameness and the homogenization of the card pool and the gameplay itself. So,
yeah. So
yeah, it's a lot.
We will not be watching our super finals. Because Dudarudi, who is one of the 9-person player, has opted not to show their hands, so we will be skipping that. We will go to the next match down the line, which is ChiggyWig versus Arakasi, and
sweet.
Yeah,
zkillz, Oracle and Time Vault are both bricks. Their floors are both bricks. Their ceilings are both. They win the game. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think they're both bricks, but they both can win the game. They're both obviously very good. All right. Yeah, everyone's talking about sideboards now. I don't think there's to be any sideboards in this format, folks. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think it would be sweet if it did. Sideboarding is one of my favorite parts of Magic.
Yeah, I enjoy it too. I enjoy metagaming and sideboarding and thinking about what folks are going to be doing. But anyways, we got Arakasi on the blue-black mid-range tempo list. First bug here. Neither deck appears to be on lands, so we're not going to see a fast strip block.
Isn't ChiggyWig the land guy?
I thought they just got mauled by lands. I could be wrong. Did they just maul
I thought they were the mauler, not the molee.
So they were the one with the chest hair and the tooth sword.
I think they had Chill. Yes.
Okay.
Are we good to go?
Yes, you are. You're
Okay.
good to go. I have things. I have things. I say.
Yeah. So cannons are instruments. Like one of the things that I was thinking, like in my head, I thought, just it's just a personal thought. It's not something I'm trying to like sell folks on. Is that like sideboards would be interesting, or like making the decks bigger, which is not really feasible outside of digital play. Just making the decks bigger, like 200 or 300 cards. Go with a bigger deck. Water down the card pool. Force creativity through greater volume. I don't know. That's just a thought, though. So let's look at these hands. Well, is that a Gilded Goose in the far left-hand side of Chiggy's hand?
I don't think so.
I can't see it. It's a green card.
It's another Hall of Moldaya.
Okay. So their hand's kind of slow. Basically, if this Bob can get down uncontested with Counterspell backup, I really like Arakasi's spot. Dark Confidant, in my opinion, is a card that not enough folks play in this format. Like, I think folks look at this card and think, oh, I'm just going to die to this. You won't. Just block with it in the matchups where you will die to it, and it'll generally trade off at mana advantage or parity. And or it'll trade down one sometimes to, Goblin Guides and whatnot. But the card's just really good. And, in a matchup like this where, you're not really worried about getting turbo murdered by your opponent, it'll just take over the game. And it's a clock. It just basically does everything. Card's great. Should be running more decks. It is a best card folks are not playing.
It's weird to, put it... people are aware of Bob, right? People know people know who Bob is. It's not... It's not exactly that people don't know about, but I agree with you that it's a little underplayed.
It's hugely underplayed. The thing, and it's the reason I bring it up all the time is because when I bring the card up, people are like, "I don't know, it might lose too much." I'm like, "Dude, just stop! You're crippling yourself here."
Yeah,
you're
it is a little scary
to
put because often you have that card and dig through time in the same deck, right? And then
hell yeah, dude, I've taken.
But I agree with you. I think it's a risk you have to take.
You still win. You still win when you take that much damage. If you draw a dig, you're still winning. It doesn't matter. In the match,
it's true. You take a damage, but you also drew a dig through time.
I mean, is your red deck wins player opponent not attacking you on turn 2? No, they're attacking you, so you just block with it. Then, you're not drawing the dig. It's just it's very underplayed. Yeah, Rexry, you could definitely play as many cards as you want in Canadian Highlander, but I'm saying more of a forcing function. Everyone has to play 200 or 300 cards. But again, just an idea that I myself kind of was musing about. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying it's an idea that popped through my head because one of the things I found is a lot of the decks were kind of merging into this this kind of group of homogenization. No, unfortunately, you don't get 10 extra points when you play 200 cards. That's not how it works anymore. It used to, but does not anymore. Cling to Dust is going to be a card engine here. Yep, get this thing out of there. That's a Thoughtseize. That's not a bad one to draw. My guess would be here. They're just going to... Oh, wow. All right, so you Thoughtseize. Play the Urborg. Thoughtseize. Probably kill off the Seeker. I could see killing off the Oracle, but probably the Seeker. And then slam this big idiot Tombstalker and just start slaying face.
They don't have the mana. Have they played the land?
Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah, they do. They got the mana. They're gonna have six cards in their bin after Thoughtseize. They can tap out.
But they don't have black.
Yeah, they do. They have an Urborg.
Oh, they have an Urborg. Right. That card does have text.
I won't lead you wrong. I love blue-black tempo decks. I love blue-black X tempo decks. I love these kind of mid-range tempo decks. They are probably some of my favorite decks to play. I'm not saying they're the best. They're definitely not. But there's just a ton of little tiny decisions that go into them that frankly can win you and lose you a lot of games. If you F them up, you'll lose more than you win, and if you make good ones, you'll tend to win more than you lose. But yeah, they are probably my favorite way to play the game. Just incremental, grindy. Put this big idiot Sun Demon into play. Start smashing dome. Yep. The one downside of drawing 2 pitch counters is, I guess you got to pitch both off here. Arakasi really does not want to see more mana. My question is, do you let this thing resolve? I actually might, and then just count. I guess you have to counter this because you know they have the Veil of Summer.
Yeah, they
And you
disagree.
Well, that doesn't work, right? Because they're just gonna play out this whatever.
Yeah, I mean, your counters are starting to get progressively less and less useful because of the Veil of Summer, right? Like.
Well, they know they have it. That's why I'm saying I think.
I know. Well,
box in the counter there, but maybe they're hoping to draw 2 blue cards.
What is the card in their hand? What is the black card in their hand?
Disfigure. It's an altered art.
Oh, it's Disfigure.
Yep. You go ahead and ponder here.
I'm not sure that I like playing that ponder, but I found the blue card anyway. I think I would fire off the Disfigure, kill the Aura Hole, and because now they cannot.
They can hard cast the Force Negation.
Yeah, but also like you're in a point where the opponent cannot cast Veil of Summer. They don't have green mana.
Yeah, but you're worried about it protecting their Titania, right?
Yeah.
So they play out fetch land pre-Titania, cast Titania, fetch in response to cast Veil of Summer. But what's going to happen is they'll Force a Will, Veil get stacked, and then Force Negation will get hard cast.
Yeah.
Or you could just play out the stupid.
You can play the clique and take the Titania.
Yeah, you could do that. But which actually is probably the play. Actually, it is the play because it just gives you.
Yeah, I mean, gets pressure on the board, right? You probably want
or
more pressure on the board.
It's dead on board. That's why you do it.
Yeah,
Dobbs.
It gets more pressure on the board, in which it kills them.
Literal Dobbs.
My roommate is laughing at something. I don't know what.
I mean, I think you just got to let this happen. Like, you can counter it, but what's the point in countering this? I guess you stifle this card draw. I guess stifling the card draw is not irrelevant. Actually, I do like countering this, because you stifle the card draw so they can't hit like a Damnation or a Toxic Deluge. Alright, they let it happen, but it's irrelevant. But I do think it was correct to actually counter that. But they're just dead anyways. Blue-black tempo. Giving them the business end.
There is a reason that Arakasi was able to pilot this deck all the way to a season win, right? Like, this deck's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does the thing.
And I think it's gotten better over time. I still think it is an Ancestral Recall deck over a Moxen deck. Maybe they've gone that way now.
I can give you the answer.
I am not a fan of the Moxen in that deck. I mean, look at how many lands you got in play. Like, you don't need Moxen in this deck. Get a Recall in there, just kill them. All right, this is obviously uncounterable because of the resolution on the Veil. So yeah, still lethal. We're just seeing if we'll see more cards, maybe.
Their points are Mox, True Name, and Streep?
No, they're over points then.
No,
right?
That's 10.
No, they're not. That's 10. It's 10. Never mind.
Yeah. But they're not on Streep.
Who was it that was like over points on Strip? It was Luca. I was like,
that was Luca, yeah.
11. I'm like, I think you're 11. Like, oh no. I was like, yeah, it's all right.
Well, F. And then to figure out what the other points are.
Well, no, if it's Mox, Strip, True Name, that's...
No, there is no Strip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I kind of auto-completed to Strip.
Probably like
no Strip.
Dig Through Time, Treasure Cruise. You have a lot of options in blue. Really, the big thing in these decks comes down to, like, are you using fast mana, or are you using Ancestral? It used to be also, like, a realm of decks that would, like, also run Time Walk or Ancestral or Moxen.
They're not on... Oh, no, they're on Dig.
Dig's good in this deck.
Dig is good, confirmed. They're on Treasure Cruise.
Yep, makes sense. Again, I like Bob. I mean, this Go for the Throat's going to eat Bob. ChiggyWig's hand looks a lot better. This doesn't have mana. It's still, like, arguably keepable. I mean, if they hit the green source, his hand can go off. I think I would mull this, though, but this hand has...
Oh, there is a Drowning the Lock, which I believe is one of your least favorite cards in the format.
No, I like that card. I play that card a lot.
There was somebody that hated Drowning the Lock.
I don't hate.
Oh,
that
maybe I'm thinking about Legacy. Maybe I'm just mixing it up.
No, Drown the Lock's a good card. It's the fact that this is where this hand can go wrong. You have a ton of powerful cards, but just no way to cast them. No, Drown in the Lock.
Your hand is Blazon Caracas in your bug deck.
Yeah, and you're just like, God damn it.
It's like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, I mean, there's a cost to playing these lands, right? There is a cost. You can't always treat them as mana sources.
These Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
If they draw a black source here, they can stick in this game. If they don't, this game's over. All right, they're dead.
I mean, if they draw,
I think it's just over, homie. Like, they're gonna have multiple counter spells up with a card engine in play. You know, it's just over. Like, I think this just ends it. And it was greedy keep. It could get paid off. It could fail catastrophically. But their next spell's going to get countered. They're going to get Cryptic Commanded. You know, it's just in the Muyan Ling. It's just like, they may even just play the Muyan Ling out here just to be like, hey, you're not doing anything. You didn't play a land last turn. Get bent.
You didn't play a land last turn? Here's some birds.
Yep. So, yeah. Yeah, it's one of the things with like the lands deck too. I don't think you want to keep hands that can go wrong because tempo will help you go wrong, right? All right, they hit the land this turn, so they can at a minimum kill off this Dark Confidant and get the card engine off the board, which is not irrelevant.
Yeah. You probably fetch a Bayou here, yeah.
Yeah, you need black mana. You need to deal with this board.
So the Dryad can block the Bob at least.
Yeah, but I actually
kill
just
it
like
because of the
killing...
Moyangling.
I just like killing the Bob because like you're playing it's blue-black. They have a bazillion ways to kill shit. Like
yeah, you're not
recovering
wrong.
their thing. Yeah, I mean like Fatal Push are gonna see kill this thing and they'll still have counter magic up, and then they have a misdirection which can turn that that go for the throat around. My guess would be we'll just see them make a burb and kill off this big sexy Dryad.
Hi, I am burb.
Yep. Oof.
I love Mahimber. I love Moyan Ling so much.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten... I'm more and more coming around to running her in a lot of decks. I've been working a lot on Blue Red Moon recently, and she's in there.
Yeah. I've loved her in Moon. I didn't think that I would like her more than like Royal Science, but here we are.
I play most all the 3-mana walkers in that deck, except for...
I just haven't... like, Royal Science, in my experience, just doesn't do anything. Because, like,
I play enough creatures that it's
yeah, I think that's the difference, because I don't.
I play enough things that attack. I mean, not a ton, but, like, I have, like, 15 creatures in the deck, so it's, like, it's enough.
I think I have 11?
Yeah, I think I'm at, like, 15. So
I might give them another spin.
Plus, the card Ultimate's so goddamn fast, and it's just a fun.
Yeah, it does ultimate fast. That's the reason for doing it. Maybe I'll give it another spin. I'm definitely playing both Yan Ling and Dark Faden, and I'm assuming that you're not playing like the bad Jaces, right? When you say the 3-mana walkers.
No. Like Narset would be the next one that you could probably play in that deck. But
Agreed.
I'm not running that one because I think she's just too narrow. Now, if I was playing against more blue decks, maybe I would, but like I feel like she doesn't really, she can win certain matchups, but like not actively, right? She's not a proactive card.
I mean, the reality is that she's a sideboard card, right? Like I would love to have Narset in my sideboard if there was a sideboard, because like if your opponent is trying to play a blue deck, you're like, well, can't draw cards. Good luck.
Yeah, like 3 Fairy and Narset are both pretty savage against blue decks. 3 Fairy probably more so.
I mean, 3 Fairy I think is more main boardable though, because like if you have to play a 3 Fairy as a repulse, you'll do it. It's not the
impacts the board. So, no, we're seeing a beat down here.
Like I've won a number of games against aggressive deck where my 3 Fairy were repulse gain a life, and turns out that's fine.
No, if you could run Slay in your sideboard, there you go. There's a sideboard card for you. It's a sister card to Repulse. Played in some old Tog decks, some Tog sideboards. They also just ran a Perish, though, too. Yeah. Which is a sick old card. Don't see him like that.
Perish is exactly the same as... Oh, no. Perish is not what I thought. There is a card that is exactly Slay but white creatures, right?
Yeah, slay. No, perishes kill all the green creatures.
No, but there is a hat which is exactly the same as slay, but it's all white creatures.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. Someone probably knows. Folks are looking up my cards again. Yeah, look at these old cards. Slay's a cool card. I play it in pre-modern every once in a while. It's not great, but it's fine. Play it in Tog. Tog sideboard, rather. Because you are a Cunning Wish deck in that deck, which is not a thing in this format. But, again, this matchup's kind of been, in my opinion, over for a significant
There you go.
while.
Found it.
Did you? Yeah.
Notably, I thought that those were a mirrored paired in the same set, but they're actually different blocks altogether.
Yeah, so I think historically they've tended to print like card pairings that black, for killing its enemy colors. So you have like Virtue's Ruin in PK3, I want to say.
Yeah, no.
And then
my point is
obviously Nature's Ruin was reprinted at some point. Yeah,
like, I was thinking that they would both Slay and Execute would be in the same set. Has like a mirrored pair of black can kill a green creature and draw a card, or a white creature and draw a card, or at least in the same block. But they weren't. Slay was in Invasion block, and Execute was in Odyssey block.
If you want to know a real card to do that, if you like, here's some 100-card singleton sideboard tech, because you don't have sideboards in this format. It's what's the card called? Deathmark. Deathmark.
Oh yeah, Deathmark. I love Deathmark.
Deathmark's a good sideboard card in like black-green style decks. It kills a lot of shit.
Also, shoutouts to the corset picture for it. It looks like super creepy.
Yeah, the art on that's pretty good.
Yeah, like I like it's one of the few cases where I like the reprint art a lot more than the original art.
I don't mind the OG art either. I think they're both pretty cool.
I mean, the original art is a fine art, but I think that the new art is so much better. Yeah. All cards from this cycle ended up being good. Honestly.
Yep, that was a pretty decent cycle of hosers, and they were decently well balanced enough that they weren't frosted. Yeah. All right, so Arakasi wins this match. Sorry we weren't talking about it as much, guys. Like, it was kind of a one-sided beating. Mana issues, greedy keep, but like understandable because it had some powerful stuff going on. But again, like, if you're not able to deploy them, like you're not going to play, right? It's just kind of stinks to see. But yeah,
the actual finals is Goblins versus Red Dead Queens.
I actually think Goblins will tend to win this. Generally.
What?
But we'll see. I mean, it could go.
I think that match is actually over, and they're just playing for fun. WolfgangCloud already reported that they won 2-0 versus Dudarudi.
Oh, okay. Yep. It can go either way, but I do think Goblins, if built well, can be advantaged.
I am so sad that I threw that first game against the Goblins deck.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah. I had a winning line if I just didn't play a non-basic land, and I accidentally pressed it.
Oof. Yeah, it's like one of those things, like for any Canadian Highlander players, and especially as you get more experience, you have like this like sixth sense about when you need to and should have to play around Price of Progress.
Well, I knew it was in his hand is the thing. I tried to like press the undo button, but it just doesn't undo a land play.
Oh no.
So,
yeah.
Arakasi won 2-0, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was a stomping. Unfortunately.
I had pretty good hands, I would say.
Yeah, they just didn't pair off well, and like the second keep on Euro piece, I was a little greedy. It had good payoffs, but it just didn't have mana. It didn't have good mana, especially through a wasteland. It was relying on drawing green pretty heavily.
There's an example of where I would absolutely wasteland on turn one. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, and depending on the deck I'm playing, like I don't wastelanding turn one's fine. Like it depends on the deck you're playing, the matchup, what your hand's gonna do. If you're like hands flooded, just wasteland them turn one, just buy another draw step because your hand's not doing anything yet.
Yeah, I mean, my hand was doing something on turn two, but I'm like, that's a tap land that I want to die later anyway. And if I get them, I get them, and I got them. Like it happened.
Yeah, no, we're saying like that's kind of the cost of playing cards like Caracas in your deck that doesn't use it for colored mana, or Blast Zone. Is a powerful card, but it's a spell. And it's hard to treat it as a land because it does not cast a lot of your cards. if you are a colored deck. So what's going on here? We got Blahguy, 0 cards.
Blahguy versus Bailite. Bailite.
Ooh, no. Yeah, they had a bump, so that bump could have put them in range if they had the additional land for it. That card's not going to do much on this board. So I guess it shuts down the Deathrite Shaman from gaining life. But it doesn't stop the NFL Crunch Time Siege Rhino from just smashing them in the face.
Yeah, that's a clock.
Yeah. The match score is currently not accurate, but Bailite is up 1 game.
Okay. Yeah, the Siege Rhino, I think honestly the body would have been tolerable if it were not for the 3 and 3, getting drained down from 12 and then them going up from 5. Because given that they have this bump, any land draw turns on bump, because bump I believe is a 5-drop to flashback, and then like draw into any shock variant, and you got a game win.
What do you think about red deck wins position versus this sort of red-black aggro deck in this sort of
I think
matchup?
red deck wins should smash it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pretty easily. We've seen it before. I think we had it last time I was on talking. Yeah, I think the issue is like you.
Although I do believe Bailite did beat Gozmit earlier in the tournament.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I believe it. Like Abzan, like being frank, like Abzan should beat red deck wins. Not that hard, but I mean it's just based on how they build their deck. Thanks for that, Red Mage.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you.
no, anytime, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I'm glad I was the one who's like, I think it's chest hair, and they're like, no, it's not. It's a pendant. I'm like, it's easily just a soul patch.
It's
like
both. It turns out
it had to be both. Like I've never looked at that card closely. Mostly because I don't think it's that great. But no, so Arakasi, to talk about the red-black deck versus red, one of the things that like I put a lot of stock into in specifically like the monochromatic aggressive decks is that you have the most resilient and most consistent mana, which is huge. And for the assumption of having that sometimes not work correctly for you, I don't think the increase in power is commensurate with that risk. And I think in general, Red Deck Wins has more efficient responses to most of the board interactions that that style of like red-green or red-black aggro has. At mana efficiency, for instance, like they have a lot more like 2 and 3 toughness things that just trade with one mana spells in the red deck. I think the red deck's more focused. I think that like Lightning Skelemental or Skelemental is a cool card, but like I don't think it matters all that much. Yeah, we're just watching a beating right here. We're watching a public execution.
Hello, Emrakul the Promise, Dan.
Yeah.
Here's a card for you to highlight. Public execution. Black. Let's see if I can remember it. Black 4, sorcery speed. Target opponent exile a creature, target creature, and then they can't block this turn, I believe, is what it does.
No, you're thinking of Intimidating Bolt, I think it's called.
No, look up.
They get -2, -0. The one that they have block is...
look it up. They can't block as well, I'm almost positive.
No, they...
Bailite's on 3. I mean...
each other one gets -2.
They just get small.
They get the extra turn here, like if there's a bolt on top.
All right, so they're going to drain themselves for nothing.
And they're going to confusing it with this card.
I probably am. I just remember Public Execution's art, which is great. It's just like Headman's Axe and a bunch of people looking out in awe. You're like, Jesus, savage.
The card I always confuse it with is Executioner's Wing, which kind of has a similar name.
Oof.
Which also has like an Executioner's Wing. Oh wait, the game went away.
Yep, that's the end of the match. So
the match ended. Right.
Check out, or are we wrapped?
We have zkillz versus Gozmit. You know what? We have the TheSoundOfWhiteNoise versus Necro. Let's watch some.
zkillz versus Gozmit. I think they're just replaying that one to test. But I think zkillz, if they want to beat that match, if they have to make some significant revision to their deck. Not that their decks. I'm not saying their deck is bad. I'm just saying that it's not a matchup that you will tend to win. Oof.
All right, so we're back on the medium/big white versus Selesnya something or other.
Selesnya got a Planeswalker and a card engine on board. Selesnya winning.
Yeah,
I mean, not that like Necropotence have 3 cards in hand. They have a draw engine. But that's a 6-mana draw engine.
That
which,
it is. I mean, well,
which
that's
is
a,
very expensive.
that's a jubilation right there. That's a happy angel.
I'm a little behind on you.
That-
Oh yeah,
okay. Oh, look
that
at
card's
those white
actually kind of
petals.
cool.
Hang
Like,
on.
so that card actually stops more than you'd think. Like, it stops Birthing Pod if they're not using full mana to do it. It stops Toxic Deluge, like stops Dismember, stops Gataxian Probe.
Which member?
So it's a-
This is a very
yeah,
actually.
come on now.
This is a really interesting game because we've got an Elspeth about to emblem, but
Oh.
Sound of White Noise is on 5 life, and Necropotence is on 32.
Yeah. So TRM, I made a mistake. Angel of Jubilation, different card than the one I'm thinking. I'm thinking of a different Angel. Angel of Jubilation is just a pump spell.
No, Angel of Jubilation also has a text.
Looks like
Players
Sound of White
can't
Noise
pay
too.
life.
Yeah. Can't pay life. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Is that part of it? That part of it's interesting to me.
No, that part exists. It's also an anthem. Like, this card is actually quite good.
It is. Yep. Another card that I've always
Continuing
just have everything to kill it.
Continuing to uptick the Elspeth, I think, makes a lot of sense. I don't think you ultimate in this position for sure.
Probably not, but there is an argument to making more 1/1s.
Yes, that is definitely an argument.
Yeah, because they have a haste thing. Like if they had
every 1/1 you have also makes the Elspeth ultimate better if you end up needing to go for it.
And a real card that you could get hit by here is Reality Smasher.
Yeah. I mean,
That card
honestly,
would be pretty savage. But I mean, they could have a removal spell in hand, but like Reality Smasher would be pretty hilarious. Like, brr.
a threat and a land destruction spell could also be like
Sure.
interesting. I don't know if I'd necessarily do it against the Elspeth, but it's possible.
One of the interesting
Like,
cards
yeah,
that you see in
play
play
also.
right now that you don't often see used this way. You don't see often played anymore.
is interesting.
Arch is cool, but the one that's interesting to me is Face Fetters, which is currently on Thespian stage.
Yeah, that one is
one of the interesting things with Face Fetters, it's not per se wrong though, is that it can be used to enchant lands that have activated abilities. So, for instance, it could, not that it would ever work on Strip Mine, but you could try to enchant Strip Mine with it, and Strip Mine would no longer be able to destroy lands.
Yeah,
it doesn't stop mana.
Interesting here. Like, we see a lot of Sound of White Noise like has a lot of mana, so I'm guessing the Face Fetters went on there in order to stop the copying of the Arch of Arakasi. Does that work?
Yeah, it does.
Or does City's Blessing not work that way?
Yeah, you can copy.
Yeah,
You can
City's
copy.
Blessing works
other
that way.
people's
Yeah.
cards.
And even if it does copy it, then you won't be able to activate the sound ability. Because the way Fate's Fetter works is that you cannot activate, like, it can enchant lands, and they will lose the ability to activate all of their abilities that aren't just mana abilities.
Yeah.
Yep. So like it's like
notably-
Savo's Web for one land.
Also a good card against Planeswalkers if you can get to that mana, obviously. One of
4
the
is
few,
a lot
like,
of mana,
things
but
that
you
are
know,
removal.
you get for life for your trouble.
Yeah, that's
All right.
not irrelevant. I mean,
There's the threat.
against a Planeswalker deck, it's
Now,
not super likely. But
if we saw like a sword or something like that here, I mean, I could see them turning this game. Like,
who's turning this game?
Yeah, no, we're not turning this game with this though. We're not drawing cards here. Is not turning the game. We're on 5 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Oh, power plant? Oh, a star compass? It's so deep. So deep. Oh, a star compass. Hell yeah. Like that power plant, just like, I'm sorry, Necro. I'm not making fun of you. I just like, killed me. It just cracked me up. I was just like amazed.
I mean, if
lifeline's
you're running the Khan in the deck, you may as well.
What gets him out of this? Like, entreat the angels?
Yeah.
EOT or like main phase to block, like decree
Would
of
Khan
justice.
Oh, what about Ugin? Ugin does a good impression, I feel.
Yeah, it would be pretty good if you're playing
Ugin
that.
would get
Which
rid of
now
the
I
Face
assume you
Fetters.
must be playing that because I mean you just have like mana
Oh,
ramp
yeah.
for days.
Like I said, I think this is big white. This is not medium white. This is big white.
Yeah, but
This
like,
is-
why
this
is
is
there a
mana
Seer
rocks.
Angel in it? Why is there a Seer Angel in it then? I don't know. what's
I'm
going on.
guessing it. I'm guessing it's for the BM / art.
The name of the deck list that Necro submitted was I believe something along the lines of Necro's Thirst in deck form. So I believe that some cards were chosen for their art. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I thought it might be the art. Yeah.
I can also tell you that there are definitely some memes with Zera Angel as well related. That definitely has kept it in play. Or in circulation.
No, it's going to be very, very hard now. Like, I think the Ugin is going to be the like draw it or lose. Although, question: is this land colored?
What
I
land?
don't think it. The forest, the 8/8.
No, it does not have a color.
Yeah. So I mean that might just seal it, even if the Ugin does happen to be in the deck.
I mean, that doesn't stay a creature though. It only does it through the end of their next turn.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's not the old Nissa that made 4/4s. It makes a 5/5.
Yeah, here we're seeing a Lightning Greaves. That's an odd inclusion even for this sort of deck.
Emrakul is hardcast and Emmy.
Oh, Gisela though. Hello. Gisela with the Greaves. That's some lifelink. We're seeing some powerful commander over here.
This is great.
Yeah, this is. But the Caracas. That's all right. It gets to get replayed and then grieved. So.
I have enough mana to cast it 20 times.
I'll just cast it again. Yeah.
Cool Caracas,
so
bro.
Actually, okay. So the Nissa eats death here, and that's a fair bit of life gain. So like, maybe back in this, maybe.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, like, they have infinite mana, so I mean, like, they could draw like an Eldrazi Titan. I wouldn't be shocked if they're running it. Like, I don't know what they're running. They could be running anything. It's colorless or whites on the table for me right now. I mean, just saying. All right, they're not attacking.
This might be the best Magic I've seen all day, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely like more interesting because like it's hard to tell what the hell is going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know. I mean, like, anything could happen here. So they kill the Gids because the Gids could have exiled.
I asked them what is the match score. I'm ready for them to answer that this is game 1.
I mean, it could be.
No, I think Necro is up on game.
Oh, it's game 2.
All right, I do have to ask this. This is all troll. It's not trolling. Like, has Necro won a game with this? Not a game, a match with this deck today.
Yes, the Necro has won game 3.
That's got to be a heart sinker right there. You just lost their whole board. Oh Jesus.
Yeah, that was a good round.
Yeah.
I think I like killing the Nissa more than the Gideon.
The problem with that is the Gideon can exile any permanent, so they can.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't matter when you've got Greaves on.
They blow the Greaves up with the Gideon and then Caracas the Angel.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, it works out in their favor. You have to kill it. Unfortunately, yes, I agree with you. I think the card that is more long-term problematic is the Nissa, but your means of dealing with the Nissa are dealt with by the Gideon immediately. So it's a weird trade-off.
Yeah, my mistake. I should have read.
No, it's not per se a mistake. I mean, it depends on what your hand has in it too. But I understand them making that line, but that line to me shows weakness. It means they don't have a great follow-up, right?
All right, here we see a Leonin War Leader.
Big kitty.
Unusual, but it's gonna do work.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
This is great.
By now, I think Gozmit probably should have ultimated and made these lands indestructible and just gone to town. But, they're choosing to go face as well. Okay.
Bailite, I think the Nissa was at 5 counters on that turn, so I think if you attack with the bird and the 4/3, you can actually kill the Nissa. So it's possible to kill the Nissa.
It was on 6 counters.
Was it? Yeah, you had 6 power on board, right? So you have 4 and 2. So
yep.
You had it. Yeah, I think it can go either way. Yeah, it's a big kitty. It's a big old cat man right there.
I can't emphasize enough how insane this game is. It's great.
It's just some solid.
Notably, Leonin War Leader, not legendary, so Caracas doesn't just kill it. Doesn't answer it perfect. Also, White Noise is on 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll go to game 3, I'm sure, on a new game.
They just accidentally clicked through that combat.
Oh, they just have lethal. Oh.
They can block now, at least. They did not have
Just
lethal.
let,
They had him
just
at 1.
let them know they can do game 3. Maybe let them know in the chat they can do game 3 in a separate thing.
I mean, I'm sure they're aware of it. Necro is why we had this policy introduced to begin with. This is a very stupid.
So they played Turbo Fog. They played a deck that they couldn't win.
Oh my god.
So I have to think that
Being
they know
fair though, if you're like losing that
To be
deck,
fair,
you need to
yeah, I
evaluate
mean,
your deck.
to
You're
be
like,
fair
all right,
to
I gotta think
Necro,
through my
she
deck.
does have 10 whole more minutes more than Sound of White Noise on the clock right now.
Yep. Makes sense. All right, there's top. Can it find something good? Don't use your other colorless source here. Leave your colorless open just in case you find a Thought Not Seer, because I think that was a tech.
Cannons, which I think is Brahms actually, now that I think about it. But so it
Cannons
didn't
did,
run
yeah.
the Spellseeker combo the first week, I don't think.
It
Like,
did
I
after
think
I
that,
talked to them.
I think that the way it ended up working out is that Necro started running it after week 2 because like she reworked the deck together with Loman so that the deck could
Angel
actually
of
win
Sanctions.
games because it couldn't at the beginning.
Ooh.
The Angel of Sanctions is a real good one.
Yeah, Angel
like
of Sanctions.
It's a big one.
If you're playing medium or big white and you're not playing the Angel of Sanctions, I don't know what to tell you. It's pretty good.
Great cube card too.
Yeah, JPSS. Yeah, no, like Red Mage is 100% right. Like the first week, it just played like a shit ton of fogs, like a metric shit ton of fogs, and I like talked to them a bit, and I don't know how much they took some of it to heart. I think, but I was like, you probably just like, if you're gonna play this reactively, you probably just want to have like a I win combo in there, just so like you can win the game, and people will concede to you, so you're not there.
Yeah, and like there is an amount of overlap, right, between like the fog type gameplay and like the curb your enthusiasm type gameplay. So like the time walk worked very well in terms of like being the combo that heals them, right?
Yep, it's an easy one to do. It's pretty simple combo. It's good. Yeah, Bailite, I do wish there was a rotting Regisaurus angel. Now that's an angel.
All right, the cat gets decked instead.
Okay.
That's some card draw.
Yeah,
draw.
I mean, like, all right. Yep, Crucible. All right. Yeah, Shuffle Effect.
Honestly, though, I feel like Necro has a good chance of winning this just because their deck is theoretically set up with all these like top end
just
monsters.
big dumbasses. Yeah, just massive dumbass cards.
Huge planeswalkers, like shit like that. I think this white deck is much more like around the 3-4 mana curve area.
Yeah. I could see Necro playing Emrakul and I would not be shocked. Like, just would not be. There's
15 Emrakul or 13 Emrakul.
Now what you need to do, you already did a snippet of Cheval's chest hair. Now you need to give Rotting Regisaur some ranch wings. Give him some little ranch wings. All right, so we're drawing cards. Seeing more cards. Evidently we didn't like what we saw. I assume if you're drawing there. Yep, we're looking again.
Digging deep. Gotta find that con. This Elspeth is now up to 14. The highest I've ever seen an Elspeth.
I have seen Elspeth get pretty high. Like, honestly, like, indestructibility, like, in some matchups just doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, I think in this case it doesn't super matter.
No, you need threats. Like, just having a 1/1 indestructible is like, great, I have a 1/1 indestructible. Sweet. It does nothing. Oh,
thanks to Loading for the suggestion there.
Oh, lovely.
His chest hair. He doesn't even have. How could he possibly have hair? He's a rotted animal.
Don't worry about it.
Has no skin.
He's just a rotted mess of animal. Fair enough. Put him on there. He actually, Rotting Regisaur actually used to be. What is it? What's the green red one for 3 that makes 2 3/4s or 2 3/3s? What's that card called? Yeah, that one. Yeah. So, like, I don't know if you've read the most recent books, but Regisaur Alpha was actually killed by Cheval, and Rotting Regisaur was time shifted to an earlier set to represent that card and its vengeance, its quest to beat up on the humans. So that's magic.
Gideon Jura is going to save a lot of damage here, relevantly like 5 damage in particular.
You're not even picking that one up. Yeah, it will. It's a big card. At a minimum, they can safeguard their best thing with the boots against it. Or they could just draw like Council's Judgment or like, unexpectedly absent.
I
Yeah,
think
that's-
we're gonna see it.
Oh,
I
for
think
the
that the
tapped creature
Necro's
line,
gonna
yeah.
win by time. WhiteNoise has 12 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's also unfortunately a spot where like you don't want to concede because like you could possibly get out of this.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't wanna
Necro
s-
wasn't
you don't-
dead. Like,
Yeah.
You don't really want to destroy the Angel of Sanctions either, because it also has the Embalm.
It does, but
Um,
you can't right now. And you may
yeah.
just to save life, right? I mean, like if it saves you an attack step, it's not really going to save you an attack step unless you do it like mid combat when the Greaves would not be when it would still be on it. So it wouldn't really. I don't know how it happened. I don't see how it could happen, anyways.
You'd get your Nissa back though. That would be
yeah. I mean, to be fair, the Angel of Sanction has Shroud, so you can't quite destroy it anyway.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to blow up
Yeah,
the boot,
yeah, yeah.
like, in response, kill the angel or do some crazy shit. All right. Well, we're attacking with both at the Gideon for 5.
not much choice in that that attack.
Yep, unless you can kill him.
Unfortunately, unable to access the Sylvan Library unless you want to pay 4 and go to 1.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think you still keep the selection, but I think at some point, I mean, Sylvan Library obviously
All right,
becomes
they can
a
see.
little more marginal. Yeah. I think they can see they ran out of time. It's unfortunate. But,
Oh,
it
they
is-
did. They did too. Okay.
yeah, they ran out of time. I think.
So if that was game 2, okay, Necropotence won the other one. So that was
Yeah.
full
The
match.
Ne-
win.
Ne-
And I think they were in a pretty good spot. They were in a pretty good spot to win that one, too. I mean, I don't think they were, by any means with their back against the wall there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunate. You don't want to see him go to fruition, but I mean, I think Necro had a pretty commanding spot there with their big
Absolutely.
white deck, So with Star Compass in it, featuring Star Compass, fucking so great. Star Compass and Tron lands. Yes, yes.
Do we remember what Bailite and Blahguy?
Do you remember the matchup score?
We watched
but I do
Bailite and
know that-
Blahguy, right?
that we did, yeah, but Blahguy, I believe, got beat up pretty bad. Siege Rhino was involved.
Right. So Bailite 2-0.
I don't know that. You have to ask in chat. I believe so, but we didn't watch the whole game.
Yes,
We
that
watched
is
just-
correct.
As soon as I find the thing. Yeah, Bailite. 2-0. There you go. Final standings. All right. We have our final standing. Congratulations to WolfgangCloud for winning the event. He's the solitary person at 12 points after 4 rounds of Swiss. We have a sizable number of people tied at 9. So that's zkillz, Dudarudi, Arakasi, Einstein, ChiggyWig, Bailite, and Loring all finished with 9 points. Outside of that, this is it for today. Couple of reminders. This tournament is brought to you in part thanks to your generous donation via Twitch subscriptions. If you have some $5 lying around, or Jeff Bezos has $5 lying around that you don't mind giving me, you can use your subscribe or your subscription or your Twitch Prime subscription, like zkillz just did. Thank you, zkillz, to support the stream. That helps us keeping things going and making the stream better for future times. I have, if you want to join this tournament for next week, !Discord gets to the Discord, which is where all these things are run from, and !Next poll gets you the sign up poll both for the Saturday event or the Sunday event, depending on when you're free, what you want to do, if you want to be on stream. You can also contact directly Balex Belson for the Saturday. I can put the standings up. Let me just do these. Oh wait, Necro was 2-1. I thought it was 2-0.
It should have been 2-0.
Yeah, if they were 1-0.
They said they were up 1 in the chat, and then...
Yeah, yeah, Sound of My Noise is also not terribly sure.
I mean, we're not sure either, Sound of My Noise, if you want to double check.
Alright, there you go. So this is the final standings for today. I'll make them so that they don't obscure my face, but yeah. There you go. So yeah, WolfgangCloud got first, and then we have a bunch of people tied at 9. With that said, we had an extra long stream today, so unless people are people have a burning desire to say anything, I'm gonna thank Loman again for showing up and helping me with commentary. It's always super appreciated, and I will thank all of our players for showing up and entertaining us with incredibly powerful magic as usual. Talk to you all next week. Bye bye.